Well, welcome to Lancashire Cricket TV and the second of our double header here on what is still a glorious summer's day here at Emirates Old Trafford. Earlier on we saw the Lancashire women win handsomely against Ireland, and now we have the Vitality Blast T20 match between the Lancashire Lightning and the Worcestershire Rapids. We'll have the toss in just a moment, but Warren Hegg is alongside me, and it's wonderful to have your company again, Warren. Thank you very much indeed. This is a crucial one tonight for Lancashire.
Crucial game. Both teams sitting middle of the table, Hugh. This is a must-win game for both teams, I think. So, yeah, the sun's shining, get a few people on, lots of atmosphere to come, hopefully.
And particularly for the home side, they'll be happy to be back here, given that on their trails it's been travails.
Absolutely, and wow, them first couple of games that we saw here at Emirates Old Trafford, where Lancashire were dominant against the opposition. They didn't look like they were going to get beat. Sadly, it's gone a little bit awry, like you mentioned, over the last couple of weeks. But you know what? 2020, anything can happen.
Yes, and we're hoping that it'll happen in Lancashire's favour. Now, I'm going to show you the scene that is here in the middle, because the two captains, Ben Cox, Worcestershire, and Dane Villas, are already in the middle, along with our two umpires, Hassan Adnan and Ian Blackwell. So, if you are just joining us, welcome to Emirates Old Trafford, and we have a winning captain who has just won the toss. That is Dane Villas. I imagine that you're the winning captain later too, but tell us what you're going to do today.
Yeah, I'd like to do both, obviously, but win both games. But we're going to have a bat first. I think looks a good wicket, and obviously it's been used once with the ladies' game as well. But we like to bat first here, and hopefully we can put on a good total and put a lot of pressure in the back end.
It's always interesting when you've got an immediate guide as to what the pitch is doing from just a couple of hours earlier, because the way that the Lancashire women started, having batted first, that was 127, that opening partnership. You'll go for that again, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. I think they lay the foundation for a great game. They played fantastically well, and hopefully we can emulate them and play equally well.
And trying to get the season back on track in this competition, because it was a great start, but it's been tough over the last 4 or 5 games. How happy are you to be able to try and relaunch that campaign here again? Yeah,
it's a big weekend for us. Obviously, we've got this game and then obviously the big game tomorrow night as well. But obviously, looking at that, we need to start off well here. We need to start winning some games. We know that, and that's what we spoke about in the team talks and leading up. And it's going to be a good side here, and hopefully we can avenge the defeat from another couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that was a low-scoring, tight affair, and it is very tight in the group at the moment, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think everybody's in with a shot. Guys are playing well. It is very tight, like you say, and we need to start winning some games to put ourselves into that position for the knockout stages.
It's been a while since your last game was on Sunday, so have you made any changes?
Yeah, we got one change. We've got Luke Wells, who's coming in, and unfortunately Danny Lamb misses out tonight.
Appreciate your time, Dane. Thank you very much indeed. Go well. Dane Villas has won the toss. He's batting first. And Ben Cox over on the other side, rather beautifully choreographed, is alongside me. Ben, you're going to be bowling first and chasing. Your thoughts on that?
We were going to have a bowl ourselves, so I suppose it didn't really matter if we won or lost, we were going to end up bowling. So, yeah, we were always going to have a chase. We've been chasing well the last this competition.
Tell us a little bit about your season, because it has been strange. You've won fantastically in some of the games and had some chastening defeats as well. It's pretty difficult, isn't it, to gauge your form, I suppose, from everything that's been happening over the last few weeks.
I think it's the nature of T20 cricket at times, especially the brand of cricket that we want to play. We try and take the positive option at all times, and things at knots happen, and we've bounced back in good fashion. We showed a lot of character, particularly last week, so we're just going to look to take a bit of form into tonight and tomorrow night.
And one of the reasons you are doing so well is because of your opening pair. That is an extraordinary run there, Ron. Brett D'Oliveira and Ricky Vessels as well. Just looking at them, I can't count the number of half-centuries there have been so many.
They've been outstanding, and it sets the platform for us lower down the order to try and clear the ropes at the end. The boys have been outstanding, to be honest. We can't really complain. We've got Ricky over, I think he's third leading run scorer of all time, and Brett's in a new role and he's taking the opportunity with both hands. So long may it continue.
We look forward to watching them a little bit later. Any changes to your team from your last game?
No, same team.
Same team. That's easy for me and many people watching too. Ben, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much indeed. Go well. That's Ben Cox, who is the Worcestershire Rapids captain. So, Lancashire have won the toss and they will be batting first. We'll talk to Keaton Jennings in just a moment. I caught up with him just after the end of the women's game earlier. If you're watching, if you're lucky enough to be here, you would have noticed that there was an extraordinary performance, particularly from Emma Lamb. 79 of 46 deliveries as the women beat Ireland by 54 runs rather, a little bit earlier on. So let's hear first from the captain, Alex Hartley. Hi, Alex. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Alex, the winning captain for Lancashire women. That was, in the end, very comprehensive. I mean, how sure were you that the win was on the cards after that opening partnership that you had when batting?
I mean, Emma Lamb and Georgie Boyce are in brilliant form, aren't they? They just go out, they play their natural game. Emma Lamb is an unbelievable cricketer at the minute. Hoping England don't steal her from us because we need her in the competition. But yeah, she's been great, and to be backed up by Georgie Boyce today. We thought we had enough on the board, but they came out quite hard in the power play. I was quite surprised, so we knew that we had to just take regular wickets.
Which actually, funnily enough, happened to you in the innings that you had when batting. So you knew how crucial it would be to potentially halt any or arrest any kind of momentum that they would get in the chase.
Yeah, wickets in T20 cricket is always key. You know, you get wickets, you slow the run rate down. So we always knew, like, a few wickets in the power play, you know, the stat of if you get 3 in the power play, you win the game of cricket. So that was always our goal. And if not, just to take regular wickets throughout.
You mentioned about Emma. It's interesting. You know about the difference that that grade that you have to reach to be internationally recognised. You've been through that. You understand what it takes. And is it perhaps consistency? Is it adding a skill set? And how much of that has Emma added to her game, particularly over the last few weeks?
Yeah, Emma Lamb has had a brilliant winter. She's worked really hard on the basics of her game, and she's implementing them out in the middle. And to get England's selection, you have to score runs, take wickets, and be an unbelievable fielder, which is exactly what Emma Lamb is. You know, she's scoring runs, she's taking wickets, and she's taking specky catches. So she's doing everything right. She just needs to not get ahead of herself and just take each game as it comes.
And it's worth remembering this was international opposition. They are an emerging nation, as we've been saying all day, to try and provide context for everybody watching. But still, that was a comprehensive win against an international side. So you must be proud of the team's efforts.
Really proud. It just shows how far we've come and the journey that we're on. You know, we played a lot of cricket last year, not to the best of our ability. And this year we've come out, we're enjoying ourselves, and we're fighting, and we're beating our international opposition. And yes, they are emerging, like you said, but it's still a great win.
And finally, 2 wickets, yes, but 2 catches. I want you to talk me through those 2 towering catches that you took.
We have a game called Speckies Only, so I put a bit of a dive in by accident on purpose.
A dive.
Yeah,
it was a dive.
It was a slash falling over, putting a bit of mayonnaise on it.
Well done to you and to your team. Congratulations on a big win today.
Thank you very much.
How intrigued are you by the events that are going on? And can you tell by the crowd and the noise what's actually transpiring out in the middle?
Not really, to be honest. I suppose it's one of those things as a professional, you want to make sure you go through your own routines. I suppose having played a little bit of international cricket, you get used to things being around you and you want to try and focus on your own skills. So I think that's a skill in itself. And, you know, hopefully as sort of crowds get back in, there's bigger and bigger crowds and guys get a flavour of playing in front of sort of 20,000 people, hopefully in the next sort of couple of weeks. And yeah, we really sort of enjoy that feeling.
Give us your assessment of where Lancashire are, because it's an absolutely crucial match, and indeed the rest of the group stage will prove to be crucial, because there is that bunch, is there not, going for the quarter-final spots, which could be as many as 6 or 7 teams by the end of the North Group stage. So where do you think the Lancs sit, and how confident are you you'll get into that top 4?
Well, look, I mean, obviously we've got our back against the wall. We need to make sure we play 5 really good games of cricket and give ourselves the best chance to get into that knockout stage. In competition cricket, it's about sort of peaking at the right time, so hopefully we can win the next 4 games or 5 games, get ourselves into that sort of quarter-final, and then win from there. Are we confident? Yeah, definitely. We've got an allotment of home games to play now. We play some really good cricket here at home, so hopefully we can play well and get those wins up and win 2 Roses clashes, which would be fantastic.
It's been a strange old affair, hasn't it? Because you started so well, 3 wins out of 4, and then the run without getting that win. Very close with the tie, obviously, against Nottinghamshire here. But it's been strange because I suppose that the selection, because of the players that were here and that weren't here, it's been very difficult to get the kind of consistency. And has that reflected perhaps in the performances?
No, probably not. Look, I just don't think we've quite sort of executed as well as we could have at times. There's been a couple of close games. We had that Notts game that we tied, and then the Notts game again, the sort of second time round. We've played some really good cricket, but just quite haven't got over the line, which I suppose is part and parcel in T20 cricket. It is a game that ebbs and flows quite quickly, and we just need to make sure we nail it for 40 overs of the game instead of sort of for 35 of them as we have done.
And of course, at the top of the order, you've been making your own significant contribution to the batting effort, and it's been a T20 campaign that you personally have enjoyed. Given that we started with a conversation about who was going to open the batting, it's now very certainly you, Keaton, at least at the moment it is.
Yeah, look, I mean, I love being a part of the side, I love playing, and I love making sort of match-winning contributions. So, look, the last 2 games have been frustrating, or the last 3 games really. I mean, we haven't won. I love winning. I love that feeling of getting back in the change room and really sort of enjoying time with teammates and that winning sort of culture and feeling around the change room. So, look, hopefully today we can be that sort of turning factor and we can run into the sort of knockout stages, like I said.
We're looking forward to it, Keaton. Do well. Thank you very much indeed. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Cheers, thank you. Go well.
And as Keaton makes his way out of the... and off he goes, and off I was going as well, it would seem. That is Keaton Jennings speaking to us a little bit earlier, and Alex Hartley after that fantastic win for the Lancashire women. It is a glorious evening here, the perfect evening for a Vitality Blast North Group game between Lancashire Lightning and the Worcestershire Rapids. It is crucial for both teams, but particularly Lancashire. 7th place after that Northamptonshire win last night, and it means that those above them will be the target for today's game, and of course beyond, with, as Keaton mentioned, a couple of Roses clashes coming up as well. If you'd like to get involved with the show this evening, you can do. All you need to do is go on social media with hashtag Lightning Strikes. That is the hashtag for tonight's game, Lightning Strikes. And whilst you're on your mobile device, why don't you go and pick up your ticket for the 100, which is coming up later this summer, of course. Not long to go now, just a few weeks until the 100 gets underway. The Manchester Originals are the team in situ here at Emirates Old Trafford. It is the100.com/tickets. That's exactly where you need to go. Pick up your ticket for the 100 right now. It is time to tell you the confirmed team news. You heard from the captains at the toss. Here are the two teams, starting with the visitors, the Worcestershire Rapids, after Lancashire won the toss and decided to bat first. 99 is Ricky Vessels. Number 15 is Brett D'Oliveira. Number 2, Jake Libby. The captain is number 10, Ben Cox. 44, Ross Whiteley. 30 is Ed Barnard. 27, Daryl Mitchell. Number 7 is Ben Dwasus. 18, Ish Sodi. 22, Dylan Pennington. And 31 is Charlie Morris. And for the Lancashire Lightning this evening, this is the team showing one change from their last game. It is number 32, Finn Allen. Number 1 is Keaton Jennings. 17 is Alex Davis. Number 33, the captain, Dane Villas. 15 is Stephen Croft. Number 12 for the Lightning, Rob Jones. Here's the change, it's number 3, coming into the side, Luke Wells. 14 is Luke Wood. Number 2, Tom Hartley. And you'll have to believe me when I say that number 28 is Matt Parkinson, and number 25 is Saqib Mahmood. I feel sorry for Saqib. He didn't get a nice little headshot there. Warren Heggers alongside me once again. Warren, great to have your company. I don't know what Saqib's done to annoy the people here with the screen, but he is definitely playing. What do you think Lancashire need to improve upon, given that they have had these troubles on the road of late? It's get past the top order, and the rest can't really contribute in the way that I imagine Glen Chapel would like.
Yeah, they'd have known that as well, Hugh. They'd have known that they've not been playing as well as they could do with the bat in hand, really. You know, you look down that team, you look down that batsman, and there's more than enough there to be more than competitive against some of the teams they've played against. You know, Luke Wells is coming into the team now, bit of a different slant on our team, and it just shows you the depth I think we've got here at Emirates Old Trafford and Lancashire Cricket, that we can bring someone as good as that in.
Yeah, is it partly because a player like Luke Wells obviously gives you that kind of traditional solidity, if you like, bearing in mind that this isn't necessarily the form of the game that you would expect to see him in more regularly. He is a, by trade, championship, longer format player. Is that a sense that perhaps in that middle order, if the top order, which is so exciting, doesn't quite fire, there's a bit of insurance there?
Definitely. You've got Keaton Jennings as well. You know, we heard from Keaton before, and Keaton's a very, very similar player to Wellesley. So, you know, it's a really good pitch here at Emirates Old Trafford. It's flat, it's made for batting. Get a score on the board. Like you said, the middle order overs that we've been really struggling at the moment, that's something that I'm sure the coaching team will have addressed, would have highlighted, and I'm sure that they've done enough work there to try and put it right.
I think you've noticed this over the past few years as well. There is a sense, isn't there, in the North Group, it used to be the elites, if you like, back when Durham were really successful. It was kind of Durham, and then you had Lancashire, and then you had Nottinghamshire, who were the real heavyweights, and then you would often get quite easy wins home and away against the likes of Leicestershire, Worcestershire and Derbyshire. That doesn't happen anymore. The bottom, if you like, has risen so far, and you just look at the table now, you see the concentration of all those teams. That tells you exactly what you need to know. The competitiveness of all of them is super high.
Very much so. And T20 cricket, it's an art, isn't it? It's an art now. It's not just what it thought to be 10 years ago. They go out there, they slog a few, they bowl a few, they catch a few. No, it's an art. They put a lot of work, a lot of homework behind the different teams. They work out where players are strong, work out where players can't score, and coaches are looking at monitors, day in, day out, trying to get that little bit of a benefit of beating that team. Here, Worcestershire, historically a very, very good one-day team. Look through the ages, they've had lots and lots of success. So there'll be no pushovers, and they're coming up. They're strong. They've got some top players, believe me.
Yeah, at the top of the order in particular, because it was what Ben Cox was saying. I was trying to get some sort of mic drop level stat on him, but if you just look at the way that Brett D'Oliveira and Ricky Wessels have been batting, I think it's Brett D'Oliveira who has got his best T20 score consecutively, beating it over the last 3 or 4 innings. So this is a team that's firing at the top of the order, just like Lancs want to be, and just where Lancs' pedigree is.
Yeah, you look at Wessels, top player, played in a lot of franchises around the world, loads of experience, very, very aggressive, loads of tradition to his game as well. Then you've got D'Oliveira. We talk about tradition.
Yes.
That's a seriously traditional name, yes. D'Oliveira. It's etched on Worcester cricket. They're having a fantastic little spell at the moment. Let's hope today, he's not quite as got that as up to speed, but I'm quite looking forward to watching the way he plays.
We'll be back with you, Warren, a little bit later on. There's much to discuss ahead of this one. It is a fascinating game. If you just look at how tight the first game between Worcestershire and Lancashire was at New Road, it was really, really tight. A completely different pitch we're expecting here this evening, but that's not to say that it won't be just as fascinating a game to watch. So we'll be back here shortly. A reminder that Lancashire Lightning have won the toss and they will bat first, and on the pitch that we saw the women play on earlier, they'll be pretty pleased with that.
It was bonfire night about two years ago. So yeah, we're always talking about tales around the bar and catching up about what's gone on down at the cricket club, and we decided it'd be good to put it into a podcast form. Unfortunately, we lost a lot of our history, whether it be newspaper cuttings or photos, in a house fire quite a few years back. So we wanted to rebuild it back up, and we wanted to keep the community involved because we are a community-heavy club. Well, if you take the game away because of COVID, we want to keep them happy and involved. It's a great initiative because cricket, more than any other sport, I feel, is all about volunteers and the work that they do. We've been able to keep them updated with what's going on at the club. So, that roof caved in. During COVID, we decided to refurbish the clubhouse. So we've been giving constant updates on that. Whilst we were refurbing the clubhouse, we found that the roof needed replacing. So all these little bits that they can't necessarily see because they can't come down, we've been able to keep them informed so it's not a bit alien when they come back down and COVID's over.
From my point of view, coming through club cricket, volunteers are an integral part of club cricket. They make the club work, really. So many volunteers go into making a club run, from scorers to the tea ladies, from everything really, and most professional cricketers come from these grassroots.
With the lockdown happening, it was quite good to just set up a Zoom and then you could just record it and then get it out to everybody.
We have Ryan Harris and some of the Australian team that have featured on it, which is just bizarre in itself. Kurti Azad, who used to be our professional, one of the stories in the podcast, he played for us on the Saturday and won the World Cup on the Sunday. Those stories are just bonkers and you've got to talk about them.
It's great to see some local clubs now with some people around, and it's great from clubs from that community aspect as well, not just sporting but for people's mental health as well. Getting that community feel, whether it's in the clubhouse or if we get a rare sunny day to get outside, mingling and watch some good cricket as well.
I think we're just going to give it to the club, and they'll find something for it, whether it's updating some of the slightly older features or for them.
There has been a whisper that over lockdown we've put down a new patio next to the steps, of maybe some planters or something like that, just to make it look a bit nicer, a bit more presentable.
Yeah, it's a great initiative from the Energy Check, and I think volunteers, they make club cricket go around really. And like I said, unsung heroes at local cricket clubs, can't thank them highly enough really for what they do.
We're at Emirates Old Trafford here on Lancashire Cricket TV. Hashtag lightning strikes if you'd like to get involved on social media. Love to see all your messages coming in. We love the sunshine that we're enjoying here, although Warren Hegg and I, as soon as the game starts, we have to go and be quarantined in a very cold, very dark media centre. But still, we're incredibly honoured to be here, as are the 2,000 and a bit people who are at Emirates Old Trafford for Lancashire Lightning against Worcestershire Rapids. And I wonder, Warren, there's an England game going on today against Sri Lanka. Liam Livingstone is with England. He isn't here. I think he's still the leading run scorer for the Lightning in this competition so far. How much have Lancs missed him since he's been called up for international duty?
Isn't he? You know, Livy can bat in all situations on all wickets, and he's proved that time and time again for our team. And you know, we're desperate for him to do well for England, to get in that team. But so you've just mentioned there, he's still our leading run scorer. I don't think he's played the last 3 or 4 games here. So you know, we really need to fill that void if we can. We need someone needs to step up to the plate, start scoring the volume of runs that can set targets, can chase targets down. And as we mentioned before, I'm sure Coach Chappell will have highlighted that as one of the points that needs to improve if we're going to go any further in this tournament.
And after the start that Alex Davis had to this competition, extraordinary run of madness, basically. And he, as you well know, and anybody who knows him, will be the most furious human being about that. He found some form, 39 off 15 it was in the game the other day against Notts. And so he's a crucial player, given that the way that Lancs are opening their batting with Keaton Jennings and Finn Allen. If Alex Davis does come in first wicket down, it's important that he's the kind of player who keeps that momentum going.
Absolutely, and he's still learning at number 3. Let's remember, last couple of seasons, he's been at the top of the innings. He's used to facing the first couple of balls, getting off to a really quick start. Now he's having to play a different kind of game. The game's old, the ball's a little bit older. He's got to go from ball 1. So he's learning the way of batting at that top order. Even though we talk about opening the batting at number 3, there is a lot of difference in this. And hopefully that little knock in the last game that Alex did well will hopefully, you know, surge him forward and give him the confidence to go and get a big score for us.
And I rather disparagingly said that the middle order hasn't been firing in the same way that the top order would want them to if they don't fire themselves. But we have to speak about the model of consistency that is Stephen Croft, because he is the kind of player actually that found consistency difficult to find, even though he was such an integral part of this team. But and yet the older he's got, he won't like me saying this, the older he's got, the more consistent he's got, and he is now a crucial linchpin in that middle order.
No, I love saying he's getting older. He used to.
He doesn't look it.
He used to rib me all the time to be the oldest man in the team, and it seems a long time ago since I played with Crofty. Now he's in my old shoes, so to speak. But like you say, yeah, bags and bags of experience. If you could bottle experience, you'd put a tap on Stephen Croft. He's played over 250 T20 games. He knows the game backwards, top of the order, middle order, and he'll be trying to give some of that wisdom that he's got onto some of these younger players of what's needed in certain spells of this T20 game. And he's you know, we're hoping that I see lots more games from Crofty. I love the way he plays. I love the way he's so excited of every game. He played so many games, but he's here. He wants to play cricket.
You mentioned the kind of experience that the older players can give. Glenn Chappell is clearly a man who's had the most extraordinary experience as a player. He's still a relatively young coach. I wonder what kind of work he would have done with the team since Sunday. There's been a gap between games that you don't often have. Often when there's a gap between T20 games, you'll have a game in a different format to bridge it. So what kind of work could he have done, or would he have tried to get them to relax and to clear their minds out?
Chappie's very proactive as a coach, so he'll know that he's got to improve day in, day out. He wants to learn new things off different coaches. He wants his team to learn new skills, to learn new schedules, and to be better at it. I know Chappie from being a player and being a very, very good cricket coach that he'll have acted on this little void, so we speak. And let's say if we're back on our home turf now, Q, aren't we? This is our patch. This is where we play well. So hopefully today, it's our 12th man. We're in front of the crowd, not as big as we'd have hoped, but we're in those times. But you know, we're back on this pitch, which we know so well, in our own dressing rooms, in our own showers. we're on for it. And I've got my lucky belt on as well. So we're going to mention my lucky belt.
Can we pick that out? Andy's our cameraman here. Can we pick out this very important piece of paraphernalia? That is a lucky belt. Now, it might look to you like it's of some actual value, but it is of nothing but emotional value, because it seems to be made of cardboard from this distance, but I won't get any closer just to check.
It's a lucky belt, Hugh. That's all we need to know.
So that's how much you're leaning on tonight's game. That's how much this matters tonight, isn't it? Because it's a really important game. If you look at the table, and we've mentioned it before, just with Northants winning last night, it took Lancs down a spot, and those kind of machinations are going to be happening over the course of the next 2 weeks.
Absolutely. It's a must-win game. It's a must-win game for both teams if they want to get any more in this competition. Yeah, we win tonight, we go ahead of Worcester. You know, like we said before, they're a very, very good team, and anything can happen in those final 3, those final 4 games. You get on a roll, you put a run of 3 games, 4 games together, all of a sudden you're qualified. You draw a line under the qualifying rounds, it's knockout time.
And I tell you what, if one of the opening batsmen gets a 79 of 46 balls like Emma Lamb in the women's game earlier on, I think Lancs will be in a pretty good position, won't they?
Absolutely. I wonder if she's available for tonight's game.
Yeah, exactly. If there's a last-minute injury or somebody gets struck down by your lucky belt. Warren, thank you. We'll talk again a little bit later on. We will have you now in the company of Scott Reed on the BBC's commentary team, and I tell you what, it's going to be a fantastic game to watch and to listen to if you're on the BBC with Scott. And we'll be back here at the innings break to discuss what will no doubt be 79 of 46 balls from one of the openers, if anything goes well to plan.
And we'll bring in Stephen Moore, who's going to join us. Yeah, it's a beautiful evening, and the weather forecast is good. It's a clear night. Stephen is alongside me. Nice of you to turn up on time. Oh no, you missed it.
On time for the start.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Are you well, Stephen?
I'm very well, Scott. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Dave Bradley alongside me from BBC Area from Worcester as well. It's like friends reunited, isn't it?
I saw him bat. I'm not surprised he's a bit late.
It's that panic you get when the umpires start walking out and you haven't got your pads on, have you?
In swinging Yorker. How are you, mate? Good to see you.
Good to see you, brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got a foot in both camps, haven't you, this evening?
Well, yes, technically I do, yeah. It'll be interesting. I'll sit on the fence and let you two fight it out.
Okay.
Me and Bradders won't be fighting it out.
We don't do that.
No.
We don't do that. Certain local radio commentators get very excited about things, but myself and Mr. Reed, we've had our anti-adrenaline pills before we start, so we're very calm and collective. Yeah.
What do you reckon, Stephen? Is this are we in must-win territory for Lancashire Lightning? They're 7th. They've won 3 of the 9. They've got 8 points. 3 points away from Durham, who are 4th, but they've got Durham to play here still. Is it a must-win for Lancashire tonight?
You're getting close to that, yes.
Yeah.
You know, you need to start building some momentum now. You know, with as many games as you're going to have in this competition, you're going to have dips, you're going to have blips. But as you start getting to the business end and going into that knockout, you need to start building momentum, and you don't want to be leaving it too late. It's not do or die yet. But they'll definitely be having those conversations in the change room now, saying, guys, we've got to start getting this momentum on.
It's getting on a roll in this competition, isn't it? You've been 3 or 4 on the trot, and all of a sudden, you're creeping up the table.
It is, yeah. It doesn't take much, does it?
No.
You know, we talk about momentum in professional sport a lot. If you've got a lot of games, not so much pressure, but you know, when you definitely, as you start getting to that business end of the competition, you really want to get the momentum, get that confidence, get that winning habit in.
It's a funny one, isn't it? Because I get what you're saying. You don't want to peak too early. But then again, it's quite nice to make sure you qualify early. I'm a bit confused. You don't want to peak too early and play too well right at the start and then fizzle out. But then you don't want to leave it too late to qualify. I'm a bit confused. I'm always confused.
Yeah.
Confused.com.
It depends. I mean, I think with the length of the competition, I think we've seen squads and positions flex and change. You know, you've got international duty players coming in and out. Inevitably, it's going to disrupt the side. I mean, look, yes, goal 1, get qualified. Absolutely.
You'd sooner be Nottinghamshire or Yorkshire than Leicestershire in this group, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, get it done.
Get it done.
Yeah.
But equally, you don't want to be going into the knockout off the back of 2 or 3 losses.
No.
You want to be going into that knockout with a settled side, with players who are feeling confident, who know their roles, who've taken a few wickets, scored a few runs, and everyone's settled. I'm not saying you can't do it the other way. I'm just saying in an ideal world, if you're a coach, you're looking at it, what do I really want? I want to have a settled side. I don't want to be stressing going into that knockout stage. Yeah. So, you know, tonight will be a big night for both sides, really, from the point of view of they're both looking to build that momentum and settle their squads a little bit as you start to get to that point of the competition, not just only qualifying, but making sure that you're in a good place to perform when you know, it's do or die.
I just mentioned to Dave before about when Worcestershire won finals day at Edgbaston, and all three of us were there because, of course, Lancashire there, and Worcestershire beat Lancashire in the semi to get there. And you was on commentary with me, and as much as you were disappointed that Lancashire didn't progress, and you were also thrilled to see Worcestershire go on and then ultimately win it, weren't you?
Oh yeah, no, it was great. Obviously in Edgbaston as well.
Yeah. It's a great day out, isn't it? It's great if your team win.
It is. Yeah.
It's still a great day out.
No, it was fantastic. I mean, Worcester, very close to my heart. I started my career there, and it means a lot to me. And watching the team celebrate and seeing the passion of the supporters and everybody at the club, celebrate that, because let's be honest, this is a big trophy in county cricket now. Winning the 2020 means a lot to players and supporters.
And to the treasurer of the club as well, to the bean counters.
That always helps, yeah.
It certainly does. Yeah, we were saying before, you win the county championship, the start of next season, the same amount of people will turn up. But you win the T20, start of next season, the first game, and everybody wants to go. And particularly nowadays, when we've got the restrictions, everybody wants a ticket. Everybody wants to go and see the T20.
You do. I mean, I'm having that conversation, with my family now. I've got a couple of young kids, and they want to come and watch a T20 game. I'm unlikely to bring them down to a county championship. Obviously I like taking some Test cricket as well, but they want to come and watch T20 cricket.
What's wrong with coming down to watch all 4 days of Lancashire against Kent starting on Sunday, Stephen?
Yes, yeah. A different world, yeah. I have to check with my boss about, booking time off. 4 days for the cricket, is that all right? We're working flexibly now, can't we? Yes.
It's a hybrid working system now.
Yes, absolutely.
Are you working from home? Yes, but I now live at Old Trafford.
We're only a couple of minutes away from the start. In fact, here come the umpires. Here they come, striding out to the middle, which is excellent news. So we're only about a couple of minutes away from the start of the game. Scott Reed, Stephen Moore, and Dave Bradley, your commentary team, live on the BBC Sport website and app, across all BBC Radio Lancashire frequencies until just before 7, and then it's on DAB, live on Lancashire Cricket TV, the live stream via Lancashire's website, and also available via Worcestershire's website as well. The Rapids are on their way out, because they're fielding first. Lancashire won the toss. They're going to have a bat first, and now sprinting out to the middle, doing a little bit of a jig, the Jennings jig, and Finn alongside him, the Lancashire opening batsman. And they've been, I think, certainly Finn Allen has been looking for a bit of consistency. It might be the way to describe it. He's had one good knock so far, a couple of low scores along the way, but I'm sat to my left is a man that opened the batting in T20 cricket. That happens in T20. You're going to get some scores, you're going to get some low ones, aren't you?
You are, and we were talking about momentum earlier. Definitely batting in T20 momentum plays a big part. So yeah, you're going to get a few low scores, but if you can get one under your belt, then it's especially if games are coming one after the other like this, you can quickly get a 50, 60, 70 and back it up. So yeah, he'll be looking to release his hands through a few balls, I'm sure, today. It's a beautiful evening for it.
Isn't it just?
Yeah. Nice small boundary on the one side once again. So
we're as we look from the media and player centre, the pitch is to the right. In fact, there's only a few more pitches along, and there's a slightly bigger boundary through the offside as Jennings is on strike. Ben Dorcius will open up the bowling with a fabulous moustache. I mean, that is an absolute belter, isn't it? That moustache from Ben Dorcius. Look at that beauty, right across the top lip.
Effort has gone into that, isn't it? He's definitely got the moustache comb out, that's for sure.
He could be right. Gives it a bit of a comb every morning, I reckon. Here we go, slip in place. And that's carved away down towards third man. First ball down to the third man boundary. There is a fielder there and a run for Finn Allen. And Lancashire Lightning are up and running. He's played a lot of T20 cricket, Ben Dorcius. He's played a lot in the Big Bash. He's had success as well. He's a very good bowler, isn't he? He's a good signing for Worcestershire, I think.
Having that left arm combination, that change of angle, can really disrupt the batting lineup. So it's it's good having that change. Obviously, Lancashire have got it as well with Wood.
Bit of the old Merv Hughes about it, isn't there? Really, I mean, quite liking that. Big strong lad, isn't he? Big fearsome looking tash. Left arm over the wicket bowling. And Keaton Jennings follows the ball, but past the outside edge and through to the keeper, Ben Cox, and there is no run. England, by the way, 90 for 1. Their target is 242 to beat Sri Lanka. Jason Roy's 49 not out, and Joe Root is on 11. So they've lost a wicket. They've lost Bairstow in that reply of England. Bairstow out for 29. Hasaranga with the wicket. Dorcius balls again forward as Jennings just pushes away into the offside, picks up at point, and there is no run. We've been admiring Ben Dorcius's moustache.
Very good.
It's a belter.
It's a very late 1940s B film moustache, I think. he could have been the bad man in a Sherlock Holmes film, I think. Moriarty, he could. Yes, it is. It's a beauty, isn't it?
Isn't it just? Squad number 7. And Jennings wait, slip in place, deep third, deep backward square. Jennings off the front foot, trying to push the ball away into the offside. But there is no run. One without loss under floodlights, but it is a terrific evening. Pitch bathed in sunshine. You can actually just see shadows being cast from one or two of the players as the sun drops a little lower in the sky. But pleasant enough conditions, quite a breezy day, but nice and mild. Plenty of short sleeves in the crowd, which is obviously limited. That's just the way it is at the minute. Dorcius ball's fullish length on off stump, driven to extra cover, where it's fielded by Jake Libby, and there is no run.
He's settled into the game at Dorcius. Never played in England before. He came over this time round. Remarkably, he's never played a game of red ball cricket, first-class game. He's only ever played T20 and 50-over cricket. So his stats don't give him as playing first-class cricket, which is amazing.
Final ball of his first over. Swing and a miss from Keaton Jennings and through to Ben Cox. That's the end of the over. Just the one off it. Started very nicely indeed. I've seen quite a bit of him bowl in the Big Bash, playing for the Sydney Sixers. But, yeah, 77 T20 games. But waiting for a red ball game. I tell you, that sums up quite a lot of modern day cricket, doesn't it? Blimey, yeah. 78 T20 matches now and not played a red ball match.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. As you say, you're quite right. It just sums up the modern game. And it looks as if Dylan Pennington is going to bowl. Indeed, it is Dylan Pennington, who has had an amazing start to the game against Yorkshire. I think he had 4 wickets for no runs at one time. And then Thompson got amongst it all, and they scored 190 odd. Yeah,
that ruined it a bit.
That made a complete mess of the whole night. It's very rude of him, I thought. Here's Pennington, tall, blonde-haired, right arm over, in and bowled. This is just tucked away on the leg side by Allen. He'll pick up a single as Ross Whiteley comes in from the deep square leg boundary. Quite a big boundary on that side, if you know your Old Trafford, the big stand, I'm going to call that. It used to be the Stretford end when I was a boy, till they turned it all round.
It was when Stephen was playing here as well.
It was it?
Yeah, well, definitely, yeah.
Oh, then turned the pitch round when you played.
Yeah, well, it was tough facing. I remember facing Harmison bowling from that end out of the sun.
Yeah. Here's Pennington this time to Jennings. It's in the air and it's I think Dorcius should have caught that. He got his feet in the wrong place. Well, he got his hands in the wrong place because he wasn't going to catch it with his feet. But his stride pattern wasn't quite right. He threw his hand up, but I think he should have caught that.
Yeah, he looked like he thought the ball wasn't going to travel quite as far, so he checked his run and then realised he'd misjudged it and did a sort of a pirouette and jump, and I almost got there, but wasn't really close, was he, in the end?
It was a good pirouette and a good jump.
It was, yeah. It looked good, but he was a long way from
9.6 for the pirouette. Here's Pennington in again and bowls, and this is pushed away on the offside. Won't be a run there. Scrambling in the dust of the practice wicket is Ross Whiteley. Exceptional fielder. There's some good fielders. There are some good fielders in T20 cricket these days, but Whiteley has pulled off a couple of catches this season that, well, words escape me, which is not very good when you're on the radio, trust me. Pennington races in again. This time it's short inside edge, bounces just past the stumps, and Cox takes very comfortably. Got a slip in there. Daryl Mitchell's in at slip for Worcestershire at this start of this game. The outriders, there's a deep square leg, and I assume there's a third man, although I can't see him.
Yes, there is.
There he is.
Yeah.
4 without loss in the second over. 2 balls remaining of it. Allen and Jennings have 2 runs apiece. Jennings it is. Left-handed faces. Gets this away in the air and gone. Oh, he's dropped it. Straight through the hands of Ed Barnard on the deep square leg boundary. Did that come out of the sun? A very safe pair of hands normally, Barnard, but he should have caught that.
Yeah, it's tricky down there. You'll be looking straight into the sun at the old Stretford end. But he had got his sunglasses on, and he did get his hands up. He looked in a good position. He probably just misjudged the pace. It was travelling flat and hard. It looked like it just burst through his hands. Didn't quite judge how hard it was coming at him.
So a couple of early chances gone down for Worcestershire. Pennington in again. This is a toe ender, I think, from Jennings. Looked as if he was going to smash it out once again over a deep square leg, but the ball just trickled back up the pitch. He's not looking at the toe of his bat, but I'm pretty certain that's what it came off. For 11 without loss then. That ball, by the way, that Ed Barnard didn't catch went 4-6. So 11 without loss, Lancashire, after 2 overs.
He was responsible for one of the best catches I've actually seen live.
Down in
Barnard
the corner.
here.
Liam Livingston.
Were you here for that? I think you may have been.
Yeah. Watching that,
Wasn't it a stonker?
Oh, that was amazing, wasn't it?
Absolutely outrageous catch.
That is something that T20 has, brought. The standard of fielding has just gone through the roof. With as the games have got shorter, some of the quality is just exceptional now.
Cautious to continue. First over went for just the 1. And this is lofted back over his head, down towards the boundary, and all the way for 6. What a glorious lofted drive over long on by Keaton Jennings. He moves into double figures with that. 17 without loss, and that's a beauty of a shot from Keaton Jennings.
Yeah, that was a really controlled shot. You often see guys, releasing their hands through almost like a baseball, but that was a traditional cricket shot. Yeah, cleared his front leg a little bit, but check drive straight back over the bowler's head.
Moves to 15 not out, 17 without loss. Dorcius is back of a length. This is cut down to third man. Just for a single this time. Jennings moves up to 16. Score moves on to 18 without loss. Brings Finn Allen back on strike.
It's always a danger in 2020. You see lots of captains trying to change their bowlers a lot in these first 6 to a set pattern. Dorcius has bowled 6 already, and he's backing up with another over immediately, which gives the batsman a chance to have had a bit of a sighter.
Dorcius left arm over bowls, eased off the hip. Picked up at mid-wicket by Jake Libby, and there's no run. 18 without loss. Yeah, Finn Allen this season so far in the blast for Lancashire, with a top score in one of the early games here. Got a 60 against Notts. A couple of low scores in the middle of all that. 73 against Leicestershire. Thick top edge, and just beyond the reach of the man coming up from extra cover.
Daryl Mitchell, that was. Looking all his years as he tried to get his feet going there to get to that one.
Treacle running. No, but that's 3 chances.
Yeah, that was unlucky. Right in the middle of the 2 of them, it was perfectly placed for a miss hit. But yeah, neither fielder were quite able to move with the pace required.
Cautious to Jennings. That's cut down to third man. Gets through for a single. Well, perhaps you need a bit of good fortune if you're a batsman out of form in this format. Something to land in your favour and not into the hands of the fielder. And despite the desperate dive from Daryl Mitchell, that kind of leading edge, top edge, as he tried to whip it away, fell safe. Back on strike with that, following that single by Jennings. So 20 without loss, 1 ball left of the 3rd. Finn Allen on strike, pushed leg side field back, so a deep mid-wicket and a deep backward square leg. 3rd man comes inside the ring. This the final ball of Ben Dorsh's second over. Into the pads of Finn Allen. Just tickles the ball away through the onside. Jake Libby comes up from mid-wicket to field. And that's the end of the third over. So Allen has 4, Jennings has 17. And Lancashire Lightning batting first. They won the toss, opting to have a bat first against the Worcestershire Rapids in the T20 Blast North fixture. Live from Emirates Old Trafford. Our 21 without loss. Myself, Scott Reed, Stephen Moore and Dave Bradley, your commentary team this evening.
Dylan Pennington going to bowl his third. He actually bowled 4 straight through in a recent Worcestershire game. In fact, the game against Leicestershire last Sunday. So maybe that's something he's going to do tonight. I suppose Daryl Mitchell is the only one left from when you were at New Road.
Well, Mo's still there, isn't he?
Mo, of course, yeah, Mo. Yeah.
Although
he doesn't turn up very often. It's a bit like you. He doesn't turn up very often.
Pick and chooses when he wants to play now.
I know he's off playing for some other team at the minute. I don't know where he is. Here's Pennington. In he comes, bowls right on mark. This is in the air, and he's going to go this time. No, it's over the head of Sodhi, who is at mid-off from air angle. It looks as if it was going straight down his throat. Didn't really get hold of it, Allen, but it just floated over the top of Sodhi, and Lancashire go on to 23 without loss.
Yeah, another miss-hit, trying to hit it back over the bowler's head. I am surprised at how much the Lancashire players try to hit over. Definitely when I was playing here, we used to try and hit through the field more than these players are today.
Pennington in again. This is down the leg side. It'll be called a wide by Ian Blackwell. Ian Blackwell and Hassan Adnan are the umpires this evening. With all due respect, a recognisable figure, Ian Blackwell, when he walks up to them. You often say, who are the umpires? Oh, that's Ian Blackwell.
There's a bit of a shadow out there, isn't there? Yeah.
We got him. Yeah. Pennington turns again. Runs in from just about on the edge of the dots, the circle. Bowls again. This is away. It's in the air again, but it's going to be safe, and it's going to get past Whiteley. No, he hasn't kept it in. Whiteley dived and tried to scoop the ball back, but it just evaded him, and 4 more to the Lancashire total, which goes to 28 without loss. We're in the 4th over.
Yeah, it's a big boundary out there to try and protect the batsman. You feel fairly safe that you can clear your hand through there, and Finn Allen's almost sort of off the back foot hip flick shot. It's not something you teach a batsman, but clearly targeting that big boundary, and they've now got 2 people out there trying to protect it.
Pennington in again. This is short, very short. It's probably going to be called a no ball. It is a no ball, and that will be a free hit. Is he going to signal a free hit? Is it going to be a free hit?
I think it's only for...
Oh, it's front footer, isn't it? Yeah, it's all right. I've only just started watching this game. I don't know much about it. Glad there's somebody here telling me what's going on.
The benefit that the umpires have got is they can just double check with each other, can't they?
Yeah.
You know, there's that many little tweaks to the rules in this format.
Yeah. Pennington in again, and this time away through the offside. Good diving stop. They're going to go through for a single, but saving 3 runs there. Ed Barnard got down to his right, still cursing himself, I suspect, for dropping Keaton Jennings when he got 3, I think, wasn't it? 31 without loss.
That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, it looked like a really tough chance, but these guys kind of back themselves to take it, don't they? He'll be. I mean, I know it's come through the sun. There's all sorts potentially that could be obstructing him, but he would think.
I mean, you didn't have to
99 times out of 10.
Yeah, straight to him. You should have caught it.
And again, Pennington, and this is an attempted scoop away on the leg side. It's going to go away on the leg side for a single, but I don't think it was really where Keaton Jennings was aiming. He was going for the scoop over the wicketkeeper fine leg area. Didn't quite come off. In fact, in that game recently, Pennington bowled 3 overs and then bowled another one. I thought he bowled 4, but there you go. Note to self: must concentrate more, if at all.
Well, why bother?
It's
overrated.
32 without loss. Pennington, this time to Finn Allen. Allen drives away on the offside. Barnard gets in behind it, just in front of square on the offside, inside the circle. It's interesting. Ish Sodhi's doing some bit of warming up at mid-off. I wouldn't imagine that he's going to come on until the end of the power play, although we often see the spinners opening the bowling.
I'd be surprised if Lancashire open with a spinner. Tend to.
Stephen Croft.
Perhaps Croft, yeah. Yeah.
Here's Pennington racing in again. Bowls, and this is, well, an attempted pull through the leg side. Whether that was a slower delivery from Pennington, it bounced again before he got through to wicketkeeper Cox. Certainly fooled the batsman and almost fooled the wicketkeeper. End of the over, and Lancashire 32 without loss. End of the 4th over. England 109 for 2 against Sri Lanka. They need a total of 242 for victory.
This is the T20 Blast, a Vitality Blast, live from Emirates Old Trafford on BBC Radio Lancashire, BBC Hereford and Worcester, across the BBC Sport website and app, live with the live stream on Lancashire Cricket TV as well. For those with us on BBC Radio Lancashire, you will need to retune your radios at just before 7 o'clock. I mean, you could do it now, get in nice and early. If you want to continue to listen to the live cricket, it will be on DAB on BBC Radio Lancashire, as well as being online and being on the stream. Plenty of ways to listen to it. Morris in, bowling, carved away, up and over extra cover, banged in a little short and wide, and Jennings onto it in a flash, up and over the infield. There to be hit, really, Stephen, wasn't it? And he made the most of it.
Yeah, that was a gift, exactly what Jennings was looking for. He'd really given himself a little bit of room with that front foot, and it was chest high, wide outside the off stump, and with every fielder up, it's almost a free hit that you can just slap it over cover, a couple of bounces. So they've put a man back now, a sweeper, but it suggests that's bowling for a bad ball. That
first ball of his opening spell, hit for 4. It's his straighter and tighter line, tickled away down towards short fine by Keaton Jennings. Moves to 23. Lancashire Lightning move on to 37 without loss. We're 2 balls into the 5th over. Finn Allen on strike, unbeaten on 11. Notts Outlaws are the group leaders, 13 points. Yorkshire Vikings are second with 13 points. Morris bowls, and it's flicked off the pads by Finn Allen through square leg at Barnard Fields. Allen moves to 12. Lancashire to 38 for 1. Birmingham Bears are up to 3rd because they absolutely dismantled Yorkshire yesterday. All out for 80.
It's a funny game.
It's a funny old
It's a funny old game.
It's a funny old game. It'd be a pleasing score for many Lancashire fans, seeing the Yorkies dismantled.
They've had a bit of a hit to their squad, haven't they, Yorkshire?
Yeah.
Morris comes over the wicket and bowls. Slow ball, back of a length. And pushed into the offside. Jennings through for 1. Sharp single. Jake Libby, normally lively there. Wouldn't want to take it on his arm too often. Direct hit may have been tight, but he made it through for 1.
Yeah, he hit that too cleanly straight at him. He was on the ring. Because he hit it so cleanly, it was. I think he was going to be well short of his ground if that had been a direct hit. But it's almost tip and run now with all the players on the ring. You often find that the batsman now will hit it and pretty much go every time.
2 balls left of this first over from Morris. Gone for 7 so far. Defender back down the pitch by Finn Allen. Good delivery from Morris. And there's no run. Yeah, I guess Yorkshire without Root, without Bairstow, without Milan.
Yep. Connor Cadmore's also normally near the top of the order as well.
All out for 81. Blimey.
Tough to defend that.
Yeah, Lancashire at Yorkshire tomorrow night in the Roses fixture. Flicked away by Finn Allen, bouncing out in front of square on that leg side boundary, and through for 1. Keeps the strike. End of the 5th. 40 without loss. Worcestershire travelling to Derbyshire. Are you have an overnight stop, Brad? Is it you're going to go home?
Stopping in the big city.
Oh, are you really?
There's lots of people.
Oh,
buzzes.
Wowzers.
Things like that. Yeah.
Outstanding.
I'm a night in the big city, yes.
Night on the tiles.
Actually, my good lady wife and myself were discussing the last time either of us were not at home in the evening. And going back a long way. Pennington is going to continue. He's into his 3rd over. What's a good score? What's a good score? Come on, lads. What's a good score in the 6 over power play?
After 6 overs, you normally want to be around about 50.
50. If you're 50 without loss, you've got a good base, I reckon.
That's a good score, yeah.
Pennington in, that's 4 of them. Poor ball from Pennington, down the leg side, helped on its way by Finn Allen. 44 without loss, Lancashire. I do have to say, the pictures that we get here at Old Trafford are excellent. The camera crews and whoever's pushing buttons and things like that, it's really good, isn't it? It's very good. Good coverage. Not as good as radio commentary, but it's good. It's good. It's not up to that standard. Pennington in again to Allen. Allen drives away on the offside. If D'Oliveira doesn't stop it, it's 4. He doesn't, and it is. D'Oliveira diving away to his right. Nice shot, that very well timed. Not that much width in it from Pennington, but superbly timed. And Lancashire go on to 48 without loss in the 6th over. 4 balls left of the power play.
Not much he could really do there. He's bowled that top of middle stump, really, middle in the leg, but you know, Finn Allen has backed away, given himself room and carved it off the stumps. As a bowler, you kind of got to just go. That happens in 2020.
Yeah. Pennington, what's he going to bowl this time? This is short, massive, mullered away, I'm going to say. Smashed away this time by Allen. 50 comes up for Lancashire. 3 consecutive deliveries from Dylan Pennington have gone to the boundary, and his figures 33 without loss.
It's always dangerous. This, you know, Finn Allen's seen 2 full overs of Pennington now, so he should have the measure of the pace, of the bounce. So his margin for error has narrowed, especially as he's got through the spell.
Pennington races in again. This time it's in the air, and is he going to go this time? He is indeed. Ish Sodhi is underneath it. Mistimed it, trying to flick it away on the leg side. Took a leading edge and a comfortable catch, and at last Worcestershire take a catch, and Allen goes caught by Ish Sodhi off the bowling of Dylan Pennington, and his score's just gone off the board, but it'll be back in a minute. But the wicket that Worcestershire, Stephen Moore, needed, didn't they?
No, that's actually a good piece of bowling. That, you know, he rolled his fingers down the side of the ball, which just took a little bit of pace off, and got Finn Allen trying to work the ball onto the leg side, and it sort of just looked like it checked on the surface a little bit. It was a good delivery and deserved the wicket. Leading edge, just lobbed up to mid-off, and yeah, he deserved that wicket.
Looks to me like Alex Davis is on his way towards the middle. Talking about fielders in 2020 cricket, Alex Davis has got to be up there amongst them that were best year. He sort of, you know, we're talking about Whiteley. Whiteley's a big lad, 6'3", 6'4". Alex Davis is about 4 foot nothing, but he scampers around.
He does, yeah.
He's a tremendous fielder.
Across the field, considering he's a keeper as well.
Yeah.
But look at AB de Villiers, isn't it? You know, probably one of the best fielders there's been, and you know, pretty much anywhere in the field, whether he's got his gloves on or out in the outfield.
I think every team's got 3 wicket keepers in it these days.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, Worcestershire got only 2 tonight. Ricky Vessels obviously keeps a wicket. But yeah, you see teams go out and they think, well, he keeps wicket, he keeps it. Well, he keeps wicket as well. Anyway, here's Pennington. Davis facing his first delivery, and this one is good line and then pushes it out on the onside. Good call there from Davis. Sneaks a single, nobody inside the circle in front of the bat on the leg side. So in the end, both batsmen going for the call or answering the call, and they go through comfortably. In the North Group, Leicestershire playing Nottinghamshire, and Leicestershire 46 for 1 in the 6th over at Trent Bridge. A couple of games in the South Group, but we don't talk about that. Here's Pennington in last ball of his over, pushed away on the offside again. This time a more comfortable single as Jennings pushes it to extra cover. Libby's the fielder. End of the over, and at the end of it, Lancashire are 54 for 1. Allen the man out, caught Sodhi, bowled Pennington for 25 when the total was on 52.
It's a steady 6 overs from a Lancashire point of view. Puts them in a good position, a good base. Only lost the 1 wicket, and a nice number of runs to really launch an attack on. The key now will be the batsmen deciding what they think is a match-winning score, and ultimately also what is a competitive score. They should have both in their mind. They'll decide, I need to get this in order to give myself a chance. And then if things go well, this is a realistic score to go after. They're probably looking somewhere in the region of 160, 165 for a par score, and they'll be looking to try and get up to 180, 185, I would have thought.
Power play done, and Ish Sodhi comes into the attack straight away. It's a beautiful ball first up, bringing Jennings forward, pushing at it, beaten through to Ben Cox, clips off the bails. It's a lovely ball first up.
Nice. It kind of floated, you know.
Teased him forward, didn't it?
Teased him, yeah.
In one smoke to Jennings. Well, it was a wider ball. Jennings went to try and drive. There was yelps of catch it. The ball balloons down towards short third. Where
you hit that.
Got a little feather on it, enough to take it past the gloves of Cox. Hit him on his thigh, it looked like, and just lobbed up. But another nice delivery, turning away from the left-handed batsman Jennings. Not really picking it.
He's a terrific signing, isn't he, for the Rapids? Experienced bowler across all formats. This one in particular, as Davis goes back to him, flicks it off his pad through the onside, along the ground through mid-wicket for a single.
He was a late signing as well, because they were going to have the Nepalese leg spinner whose name I cannot pronounce. So he couldn't come because of COVID restrictions, and so Sodhi came in. I thought at the time, that's not bad for a late signing.
But you were pleased with that signing, weren't you?
Yeah.
Reverse swept by Keaton Jennings. Just for one. Ed Barnard on that boundary.
Yeah, I can say Sodhi.
How many T20 internationals has he played for New Zealand now? 57 T20 internationals, 33 one-day internationals, 17 test matches.
He's a very nice bloke as well, as most Kiwis are, I find.
That always helps, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Want a good egg in your team, don't you, really? Davis looking to go back to try and cut the ball, but a play and a miss. Taken by Cox, and there's no run. Just a reminder for you listeners on BBC Radio Lancashire to continue listening to the cricket. DAB is where you need to be. Of course, from the BBC Sport website and app. And Lancashire Cricket TV is... So he's in and bowling, and Davis down on one knee and sending that high over the long-on boundary. It's a terrific looking shot. Caught it ever so sweetly. Slog sweeping it over kind of wide long on for 6 runs. What a good looking shot from Alex Davis.
Yeah, that was a lovely shot. It was wide outside the off stump, but he just slog swept it straight over long on. It went down, I think, channel B7, and and the security guard was hot after it down the stairs.
Down the old alleyway. Yeah, DAB for cricket on BBC Radio Lancashire, BBC Sport website and app, Lancashire Cricket TV. 63 for 1 after the 7th. Davis to 8, Jennings to 20, on 27. Nice way to end the over, actually. Could he build a bit of pressure, hadn't he, really?
Could have been chaos if there'd been a queue of people trying to get to their seat in a full crowd. If that ball had been careering towards them, they're all on the stairs trying to get out the way.
Darryl Mitchell into the attack. Brothers is back just in time.
Yes, I may have to. Oh, that's in the air, but it's safe as it drops just in front of Sodhi at short third man. And his throw back to Cox sees Davis safely home. Yes, I have to keep popping next door, folks, so if occasionally I'm breathless, because it's at least 20 metres there and back. But the steps on my Fitbit are going up rapidly. So I do have to disappear every now and then, to the joy of most of the listeners, it has to be said. So here's Mitchell, 64 for 1 in the 8th. Mitchell bowls, and Davis makes himself some room, goes across the crease, and flicks it down to Ed Barnard, who gets told off by Ian Blackwell, the umpire, for bouncing the ball twice, returning it to the wicket-keeper. They're very keen on this, the umpires. And just a little remark, I think. Next ball from Mitchell. Oh, that's a reverse sweep, and it's reverse swept down to the boundary. I don't think Ish Sodhi's going to cut that one off. He goes just out of our view. The cheer, the roar from the Old Trafford crowd tells you that he has crossed the rope. Now, I'm not sure whether he completely got hold of that, but he certainly got enough bat on it for it to just about creeps over the rope. It was running out of legs. Total goes up to 69 for 1. We're in the 8th over. Mitchell, right arm around the wicket, in bowls, and Jennings plays back down the pitch. No pace to play with Daryl Mitchell. Still described in Playfair as a medium-pace bowler.
That's stretching the truth a bit, isn't it?
Well, it's like saying I was Slimming Magazine Slimmer of the Week, I think. It's a bit of a fallacy. Here's the next ball, which once again is swept, this time straight to Sodhi, but they're coming through for a single. Good call from Davis, directly to the fielder, and a good return from Sodhi, but both batsmen again quickly into their work. And as Stephen Moore was saying earlier, in the circle, if you hit it that hard, you're going to get a run, aren't you?
Pretty much now, with the fielders tend to just hang on the circle, and now the batsmen pretty much view it as tip and run. You get to the stage of the game, if they're on the circle, run.
Mitchell jogs in, and this is pushed away on the onside. A comfortable single as Ricky Vessels comes in from under the point, if you know your Old Trafford. And that is the end of Daryl Mitchell's over. That's 8 overs completed and 71 for 1. Davis on 10, Jennings 33, Allen the man to go, caught Sodhi, bowled Pennington for 25 when the total was on 52 in the 6th over. England 142 for 2. And they need another 100 runs to beat Sri Lanka at the Oval. And I'll go and get me Fitbit paces up.
You keep your steps coming up. Seeing pictures of supporters inside Emirates Old Trafford. It's not as big a crowd as that obviously they would have liked pre-COVID time, but actually the restricted attendance here has been reduced even further, and due to circumstances really beyond Lancashire's control. I'll bring you more on that in a second, because one or two supporters I know have been in touch about it. Barnard comes into the attack from the Brian Statham end, and Davis instantly trying to ramp the ball, but playing a miss and through to the keeper. So yeah, Lancashire saying they're really disappointed and frustrated to have to reduce the capacity of today's T20 doubleheader, and this all happened at pretty short notice. But it's with regards to stewarding and the lack thereof. This is cut by Davis down towards third. Might pick up and throw towards the stumps, but those long legs of Keaton Jennings came into full force there. Striding through to get Davis up the other end for 1. Davis moves to 11, 72 for 1. So Lancashire saying after extensive collaboration with Trafford Council on Wednesday evening, there was concern around the capability of our external stewarding provider. I think they were short of stewards, basically. So unfortunately, due to that reason, they've had to reduce the capacity for tonight's game. Jennings looks to try and dry, but a play and a miss with the keeper standing up, taken by Ben Cox, and there's no run. So circumstances effectively kind of beyond the club's control, but hugely frustrating for supporters who had tickets for that reduced crowd tonight, but that then had to be reduced further still. Just give you a few final details on it. There's Bernard to Jennings. It's chipped up towards long on for a single. Moves to 34, 73 for 1. So because of that issue with the stewards, they've had to reduce the capacity again. Lancashire Cricket, as a members club, made the decision to prioritise members' tickets. So those that did have tickets who were not members, but the reason why you missed out. It's Davis off the back foot trying to swap the ball away, and there's no run. The club said that they apologise unreservedly to those supporters that had their tickets cancelled. This is a decision that was not taken lightly, but the safety and security of our supporters remains number one priority. We will arrange a refund as soon as possible, as well as 2 free tickets to the Royal London Cup game. There's Barnard's in and bowling. Swatted down the ground by Davis for 1 run, up towards long off. Davis moves up to 12, keeps the strike, end of the over, 9 gone, 74 for 1. So for those that missed out on a ticket tonight, that did have a ticket with the reduced capacity but had to be reduced further still because of stewarding issues, A refund will occur just as soon as possible, as well as 2 free tickets to a Royal London Cup game, or a 100 game, or a Vitality fixture next year as a gesture of goodwill.
Or a Buckingham Palace garden party.
I wonder how many oars they could have put on that.
Sodhi is back on, and he's going to bowl right arm over to Davis, who's moved on to 12. Sodhi in. Oh, that's a long op, and it's pulled away through mid-wicket. They're going to come back for... Oh, there's a mess up here, and he's just about got back. And there was a real mess up there. Jennings had to turn and get back at the striker's end as Ben Cox whipped the bails off. Good throw coming in from Ross Whiteley, but not quite sure there was 2 there. In fact, I think he could have been right by country mile if he'd have gone for the second one. We got replays and things like that. They did almost shake hands in the middle, have a conversation and order a pizza. But they just about got back. One run to the total, 75 for 1. It was a horrible ball from Sodhi. Next ball is a better delivery, and he could go here. D'Oliveira's on the boundary, and he takes the catch very comfortably. Sodhi gets his man. Jennings goes, thumps his bat when he realises that D'Oliveira has taken the catch. It really was straight down his throat. Didn't have to move. Lancashire are 75 for 2 in the 10th over.
Yeah, that was couldn't have picked the fielder out any better if he tried there, Jennings. It was wide outside off stump, typical slog sweep, and just looked like he got the toe end of the bat, so didn't time it well enough to clear him. Yeah, a bit frustrated. He was just starting to get a little bit of momentum. He'd batted quite a decent time. He would have wanted to take it deep into the game and get a nice, 70. It brings the captain, Dan Gillis, to the crease.
Couple of other scores. Leicestershire now 56 for 4 against Nottinghamshire in the 9th over at Grace Road. Glamorgan 14 for 1 against Essex after 3 overs at Chelmsford. Middlesex 129 for 2, that game at Lords against Sussex. And Gloucestershire 79 for 1 in the 11th against Somerset at Brizzle.
Good old Brizzle.
Brizzle is Sodhi. Batsman had crossed, so he'll be bowling to Davis. Stands with his bat held high. Oh, that's a sharp delivery. Ben Cox took that up by his shoulder blade somewhere. Blimey, that was quick. Alex Davis got to look back down the pitch. Is it a different bowler? He was maybe thinking to himself, that was a really rapid delivery. Sodhi in again. This is very much flighted, and this is whipped down the ground towards Vessels at long on. They'll settle for 1. Good throw coming back to the bowler's end from Vessels. So Villas will face his first delivery. 76 for 2 in the 10th over. Davis 14, Villas, as I say, yet to face. Sodhi with a wicket under his belt, and he's bowled 10 balls for 11 runs, so we're pretty pleased with that so far. Bowls, and Villas whips this one away through mid-wicket. Here's Whiteley coming in from the mid-wicket boundary. They'd think about a second, but it was never going to be there.
They're going to put the fielders under pressure, these two, though. They're running, they're both very fast, so yeah, Whiteley up to the task there, but you're going to have to keep on your mettle, especially in the outfield.
Yeah, a little fumble. They're back for 2. Sodhi this time to Davis. Davis dances down the pitch, pushes it away on the offside. A comfortable single on this occasion. D'Oliveira fields going to his left. And that's the end of the over. Halfway through the innings, 78 for 2. Lancashire will be looking for 100 runs from here. 178, 165.
I think 160 in this is normally, in the 160s is normally a par score. You're in the game, then you can defend that no matter what. Depending on how the wicket's playing, you can get up to the 170, 180. You've got potentially match winning scores. So they'll be looking, I think, get to the 160 so you've got a game on. And if one of these two batsmen can take it deep, then they might be looking at the, get 100 runs in these last 10 if they can.
There's Morrison and bowling to Davis, who cuts it to short third man, and he's gone. Sodhi with the catch. Davis out for 15. And Lancashire Lightning lose their second wicket, 78 for 2, and that was pretty catching practice, wasn't it? Sliced down towards short third, and he's gone.
That was like the slip catching practice you see before the game when the coach has stood there and he's got his line of slips and he gets the 12th man to throw ball after ball and he just opens the face with a bat, and it looked like Alex Davis was doing that, trying to catch Sodhi out, who was easily up to the task, because straight to him.
Well, Lancashire batsman has got in. Has not been able to go on. So Finn Allen 25, Keaton Jennings 34, Alex Davis out for 15. From a Lancashire Lightning point of view, is Rob Jones there comes out to join his captain. It's to a degree been the story of their group stage that batsmen have got in and not gone and got big scores.
Especially since none of the batsmen have really gone after it. They looked measured. They've been scoring at a reasonable strike rate, 130, 120. So it's not the kind of 200 to 210 which you're blowing your side away with the pace you're playing at. If you do that, you have to take on some responsibility and go deep.
Rob Jones with a very trendy moustache and goatee is on strike, pushing forward into the offside, and there is no run facing his first delivery.
It just looks a little bit like the Lancashire batting lineup aren't that comfortable or confident in where they're at, because no one's really come out and tried to take the game on. They've tried to get themselves in.
There's Morris again, right up over the wicket bowling, eased away through extra cover to the left of Daryl Mitchell, scooped up by Ross Whiteley on that cover boundary. Jones gets off the mark with that, so he's up and running. He moves to 1. Lancashire Lightning are 79 for 3. We're halfway in the 11th over. We've got Morris bowling for the Worcestershire Rapids from the Brian Statham end. Little chat with Ben Dorshis, who's at mid-off. A bit of advice perhaps from the Aussie. This is in and bowling, a wristy flick into the onside. He really did manoeuvre that ball from outside off, out towards mid-wicket, with a little shuffle across his stumps. Saying, well, I quite fancy a single there, and that's exactly where he put it, 80 for 3.
Well, there's nobody protecting a single on the leg side, so all he had to do was just get it over there, and he was guaranteed 1. You're right, it was a real manipulation of the line there to get that onto the leg side.
Shovel it out, get 1. Jones back on strike. It'll drop and go, and Velas is quick at the best of times, but he's quick when he's backing up 4 or 5 yards already. Jones moves up to 2, 81 for 3.
Yeah, you drop it into that spot as a batsman, just by your feet on the offside, and if your partner's up to the task, then it's pretty much a single every time. It's nigh on impossible for a fielding side to stop that. So good running.
It's been okay this over again, though, hasn't it? Morris, what's he gone? Wicket, dot, and then a run. It's a wicket, single, 3 singles. Oh, he's just tangling Velas up again, trying to manoeuvre it into that vacant mid-wicket region. Didn't get bat on balls on this occasion, and dot ball to end a good over that. First one went for 8, his second over gone for just 3. And the wicket as well. So 81 for 3, 11 overs gone. Jones 2, Velas 2.
Yeah, no, that's a good over, and you can see the Worcester bowlers are mixing it up. They're bowling little cutters, with the odd quicker ball in there, and Lancashire batsmen who are being a bit circumspect, not really going after them, gives them that opportunity to get those dot balls on them. And if they can get another couple of those overs in, Sodhi looks like a tricky customer. They could be putting themselves in a good position to restrict Lancashire to a half average total.
Sodhi it is to bowl to Rob Jones, and Jones is forward, just pushes the wall away on the leg side. They might think about 2, they're going to have to be quick. They are quick, that's good running, because Whiteley has got a long way to come in from the deep mid-wicket boundary, and although he's one of the quicker fielders around, the batsmen again into their work.
This is where you have to be on it at Lancashire. He's too deep there, Whiteley. Jones is never going to hit it that far. You have to be in closer there.
83 for 3. Start of the 12th over. Ball driven, second ball of it, straight to D'Oliveira, short extra cover. Yeah, it's a long way out there.
Yeah, in Lancashire practices, they deliberately have these big boundaries, and they'll spend hours in the field practicing where to stand just to cut those twos down. And as a batsman, they'll be looking for the fielders who give themselves too much space out there.
Sodhi, right arm over to the right-handed Jones. Jones pushes forward on the offside. He's going to get a single this time. It's to the right of Daryl Mitchell, who's at cover point. Total goes 284 for 3. Yeah, boundary's a bit bigger than the women's game that we had before the game today. As Sodhi is in, that's another long hop. He's got away with that one because Charlie Morris will dive at fine leg to cut it off to go through for a single. But that's, I don't know, every now and then that one he drags down. What's he trying to bowl there, Morsey? What's he trying to bowl?
Well, he's bowled a good variation here, but he does mix his pace up, and it almost seems like that quicker one, he drags it down a little bit.
And again, this time allowed to go through outside the off stump by Jones. No.
A nice leave outside the off stump there.
Yeah.
Quite reassuring. I'm looking forward to Kent next week back in the Championship.
In the 12th over, yeah.
Getting his eye in for the Kent game.
Sodhi tosses the ball from left to right and puts it back in his right hand and bowls, and that wraps the pad. Again, there'll be no run there. Another dot ball. So Sodhi ends his over with figures of 3 overs, 1 wicket for 17. Jones has 5, Villas has 3, 85 for 3. 12 overs gone. The men out: Allen for 25, Jennings for 34, and Davis for 15. Pennington, Sodhi and Morris, the wicket takers for the Rapids.
Yes, it's the second of a double header here at Emirates Old Trafford. Perhaps here for the early game between Lancashire women and Ireland. Maybe in the comfy hospitality seats, enjoying a beer or two as well.
Very nice.
Women beat Ireland by 54 runs earlier on today. Those big white padded sofas square of the wicket. Look nice and comfy. Pennington is in and bowling. Oh, this is a big top edge down towards Sodhi, who takes the catch, and Velas has gone. Well, that's certainly not where he was aiming, Dane Velas, and that deflected off a leading thick edge. It ballooned back over the keeper. I think it's a swat it behind square on the leg side, and
he kind of walked across the stumps, and the bowler fired it down the leg side, so he almost looked like he was trying to slap it down to fine leg. But the ball sort of just ballooned up off the top edge of the bat. It was a shot that you think it's a free shot, but with the angle of the bat, just lobbing up, I'll say that's an unlucky outcome. Normally you do that leg side swat down to fine leg from high to low. It's harder to top edge it like it is than to sort of shuffle it down to the leg side.
And normally in T20 cricket, top edge is good for 6.
Yeah.
It's normally a good shot.
Over the wicket-keeper's head. Yeah. Yeah. Well, 75 for 1 to 85 for 4. So.
Good little period for Worcester this to drag Lancashire back.
2 for 35 for Dylan Pennington. Stephen Croft, the new batsman. They did cross, which Rob Jones on strike. Jones wants 1, just push back down past the bowler. Ben Dorcius at mid-on fields. Jones moves to 6. The score moves on to 86 for 4. To get Croft on strike, but a good little period, Bradders, for Worcestershire.
Yeah. They fought back well here and looked as if Allen and Jennings got 50 odd in their power play. So you're thinking Lancashire looking, as we said, 165, 170, but maybe they'll have to think again.
Pennington over the wicket and bowling, flicked away by Stephen Croft. Just in front of square on the leg side. Ed Barnard comes up from deep mid-wicket to field. Croft straight away up and running. He moves to 1.
Isn't it lovely to sit here, summer's evening, crowd in, good game of cricket. All through the winter, January, February, you're thinking of nights like this, weren't you? Well, I was anyway.
Without doubt. That's terrific. Jones getting onto the front foot and snapping it down past the bowler, who did almost going to cut that off of his own bowling, but just beyond his reach. Jones gets a single, moves to 788 for 4.
There's so many good qualities to sport at the top level, and you can see how it lifts the nation, whether it's Wimbledon on the TV or a good game of 2020 in the evening. With all what we've been through over the last year, this is the medicine that we all need, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it is. You're spot on.
Pennington over the wicket and bowling. Croft uppercuts it over deep backward point. Ross Whiteley should get round to pick it up. He does. That's good work. The run 3. That's good running as well, to be fair. Good fielding and good running. 91 for 4. Croft to 4, Jones on 7.
Another free hit though, Pennington. Good to try and bang the ball in, but he's. I'm sure he wanted that to be tighter into the batsman. A bit of a free hit for Croft. But once again, here at Old Trafford, if you hit it that high, when it lands, it just plugs.
Yeah.
A good pitching wedge.
Pennington over the wicket bowling. Forward press from Rob Jones is picked up by the bowler, and there's no runs. That's 13 gone. Jones 7, Croft on 4. 91 for 4 here at Emirates Old Trafford. A socially distanced crowd, but as the boys have been saying, it's great to get people back in watching live sport.
And they've all got a smile on their face, haven't they, in the sunshine, enjoying the cricket. Yeah. It's great to see.
Pennington 2 for 41 off his 4 overs. Daryl Mitchell to bowl. He's only bowled 1 over before for 8 runs. There's a steward who is there to stop the crowd walking in front of the side screen, and he stood in front of the side screen.
He's looking very confused in his white shirt, right in front of the black side screen, going, "What, me?"
Get a great view, doesn't he?
He's got it. This is great, this cricket.
more than my job's worth to move, mate. Is Mitchell turned away for probably a single. Indeed it is. Sodhi comes round from fine leg to square leg to field. That was my best Lancashire accent, that was, by the way.
It's very good. It's very good, that. Yeah.
More jobs, Ruth. Bob Hoskins. Bob Hoskins is alive and well and living in Manchester. Total is 92 for 4 in the 14th. Here's Mitchell, and he's got this one away solidly through square leg. Couple here. Charlie Morris races round to field. Ooh, the throw from Morris lands in the footholes of the pitch next to where Ben Cox was trying to stop it, and nearly took his helmet off.
That shows the times. Ben Cox gave the fielder a clap. If that had been bumpy when I was playing, I would have got a volley.
You'd got a glare if you were lucky.
I would, yeah. Short shrift from bumpy, that's for sure.
Here's the next ball, which is pushed away through leg side again, and then Whiteley comes in this time, and it'll only be a single. They're not taking on the arm on this occasion, and Lancashire go to 95 for 4 in the 14th of the 20 overs. Mitchell off about, what was he, off 7 or 8 paces these days, I suppose. Right arm over, little wobbly things he bowls, and this time it's actually a quicker delivery there. Turned away off his pads for a single by Stephen Croft. One more to the lightning total. 96 for 4.
Daryl Mitchell was definitely one of the bowlers that I would be saying, no thanks, Mitch. I'll be fine in the nets. I don't need you to put me out of form on the little green top Worcester practice wickets.
It's horrible. He's in again and bowls, and this is flicked away on the leg side. Once again, they're settled for a single. Whiteley is in quickly from that deep mid-wicket position, and they go through for another single. It's 97 for 4. Last ball of the 14th over. Mitchell through his little routine, left to right, back in the right hand, bowls, and again pushed away on the leg side, and the batsmen are happy to go through for a single. Mitchell was bowled 2 overs, 15 runs. Jones has 11, Croft has 7. Lancashire 98 for 4, and we've just completed the 14th over of the innings. Daryl Mitchell on 99 wickets in T20 cricket, I'm reliably informed.
And the last time Lancashire hit a boundary was in the 8th over of the innings.
Really?
Which was Keaton Jennings. They've dealt in ones and twos ever since. 98 for 4. There's Bernard in, that's pulled out towards deep backward square leg. And Croft moves up to 8. Brings Rob Jones on strike. Stephen Moore has just left us. I know what this conversation is.
Have they caught up with him?
They've caught up with him.
Is it the flying squad?
I think they're planning an anniversary dinner. It's 10 years since Lancashire won the county championship title.
Oh, right.
So I think Stephen's going to get booked in for a dinner here. This is cut away through the offside. He's gone for his diary now, Stephen. So yeah, I think I was right. Yeah. That brings up 3 figures. A cut from Rob Jones out towards the deep point, just for 1. But gets Lancashire up to 3 figures. 100 for 4.
That wasn't a bad Lancashire team, was it? That won the championship.
Pretty decent, wasn't it? Yeah.
Some good ones in there.
Just don't tell Stephen.
Well, apart from him.
Yeah. Well stopped inside the circle by Pennington at short, fine leg actually. Croft trying to work it away through the onside. Little thin edge squirts down towards short. Fine. Good low stop to his right hand side. Croft moves to 9. 101 for 4. Lancashire having to work hard for ones and twos. Boundaries have dried up. As Rob Jones, I think, trying to get himself into position to try and ramp the ball.
Yeah, that's a great shot when it works. When it doesn't, boy, Joe, doesn't it look ugly? Looked horrible.
Well, Keaton Jennings played one actually, Brad, is at Trent Bridge on Sunday, and Lancashire tweeted the video and said, how do you describe the shot? Because it was a little like that. He got himself all twisted up and in a tangled position. And Barnard to Jones, cuts down to backward point, throw comes in by Bendorcius, taken by Cox, but they've got through for a single. 102 for 4.
All right, sorted your bail out.
1 ball left to the 15th. Croft on strike. Barnard over the wicket to Croft. Smear the ball away through the onside. That'll be a boundary. First time since the 8th over that Lancashire have cleared the ropes. And it's dragged out through square leg by Stephen Croft for 4. 106 for 4. 15 overs gone.
Yeah, and that was a measured 20-20 shot there, the short boundary. Just reaching for it outside the off stump, but Crofty, that sort of slog sweep to the bowler bowling off cutters. It was a sensible shot along the ground once again, and I think a lot of people come to Old Trafford and try and hit the ball deep and long, and you actually get more value for your shots by hitting it hard and along the ground. It's one of those outfields that plugs when it lands, but if you hit it along the ground, it just shoots off. It really does scoot. You watch people like Jocelyn that hit the ball so hard along the ground. Yeah.
Sodi to start his 4th and final over, 1 for 17. Terrific figures, swept this time by Jones, back with his square on the leg side. Libby fields, Jones gets a run, moves to 14, 107 for 4.
Important partnership for Lancashire this. These two need to take it close to the end here if they get a good score on the board.
Currently in the Lancashire dressing room, I guess no one knows batting at Emirates Old Trafford better than Stephen Croft. That time he does get forward and punches through wide mid-off for a single. 14 to him now, 108 for 4, having recently gone past 200 T20 career matches, Stephen Croft.
It's a great effort, that, isn't it?
I think he's into the 190s now for Lancashire. Not all of them have been for Lancashire, but he's not far off that landmark just for Lancashire games. Wristy flick away through the onside by Rob Jones. Darts through for 1. They kind of toy with the idea of a second, but decide against it. 109 for 4. What's Croft got here? What's the field looking like? Wide long off in front of the hotel. Long on in front of the pavilion. Deep mid-wicket. Deep backward square leg. Deep extra cover. Croft looking to sweep. And the ball pitches and bounces over the top of Croft's bat as he tries to sweep. Taken by the keeper, no run.
Good topspin that, really. Bounced off the surface.
It didn't it? Yeah.
Parkinson will be liking the look of that.
Will he have some runs to work with, mind you? Croft here. Little fidget around inside the crease and then pushing it up towards mid-on. Comes back for 2. Moves to 16. The crowd like a good run too.
Yeah, that's really good running that. Just knocking it to the 30-yard circle, and with these big boundaries on the leg side. As you say, no one knows better than Stephen Croft where to place those balls in the outfield to make it difficult. They were never going to stop 2 there, especially with running hard.
Yeah, it was just kind of tapped, wasn't it, as you say, towards the edge of the 30-metre circle. Like the ground to make up. Final ball of the 16th over. It's flicked away off the pads. Again, he'll want 2. Again, it's weighed beautifully up towards the 30-yard circle. And he gets 2 more. That's what Stephen was just describing. The weight of the shot from Croft moving to 18. Jones on 15. Ish Sodi's finished tonight. 4 overs, 1 for 24 for him. 4 overs left for Lancashire Lightning. What will they finish on? At the minute, got 113 runs. It's come at the expense of 4 wickets, though.
Yeah, they definitely have to readjust what they think is a good score. But you know, if they can get to now 150, it definitely looks like the wicket's sticking a little bit. There's a little bit of purchase for the spinner there, so that's defendable. Bit of a short boundary, but that was a good over, and it just shows there that if you're not hitting the boundaries, if you can get the 2s of this ground, you can still get a good total.
Yes, it is in from the stay the men. That's flicked over the top of the wicketkeeper and over top of the short third man. This time that shot comes off, and it looks a lot better when you hit the ball. Trust me, because he played it earlier and it looked horrible. But it wasn't that far over Ben Cox and wasn't that far wide of Ish Sodi, but a boundary it is.
Yeah, it was
17 for 4.
Awkward-looking shots, that, isn't it? When they play them, they can be effective, but I'd argue that was probably more luck than anything else to be able to get it between those 2 fielders.
I'm not sure you're in total control when you play that shot. Here's Dorcius, races in again. This time cut away, and that's going to go race away for 4. A more conventional shot this time from Jones, who goes to 23. 121 for 4 in the 17th over. Picking up the pace, as they need to do, of course, here.
Good shot, that wasn't it? A good, proper cut shot.
Yeah, just a little bit of width, but he'd gone across the crease to increase that width. Smashed it away.
Well, once again, though, they seem to be moving the field to where the ball's just gone for 4. It's the 3rd time I've seen that happen this evening, where they put a fielder exactly where the ball's gone for 4. The previous ball.
Dorcius, left arm over, stay the mend. Bowling to the right-handed Jones, and Jones gets this one away again. He's not going to get 4 this time because the fielder who'd been moved to where the ball went previously cuts the ball off.
It's an understandable tactic though over here to bowl to the big boundary over that side there. You know that, especially with the left-hander now coming across the right-handed batsman, it's the obvious angle. And if you get it right, it can be quite difficult for a batsman because you cut out the boundary option. So,
Dorcius in again, 122 for 4, and this time, a big heave-ho, and the top edge goes straight through the wicketkeeper, Ben Cox, and the finger goes up, and Lancashire have lost their 5th wicket, 122 for 4, and Jones goes 4. It'll come up in a minute.
24, I think.
Croft, yeah.
Correction, 18.
Thank you.
18.
Yeah, no, it was he walked across the stumps there, Croft, trying to target the shorter leg side boundary, but with the left-hander coming across him. And I think he just rolled his fingers on it just a little bit, just enough to disrupt Croft's shot, and he just got a little bit of a feather through off the top of the bat, straight through to the keeper. So the intention was there, trying to up the ante, target that short boundary, but he wasn't up to the task as much as Dorcius was.
Luke Wells, a new batsman, just his 2nd T20 matches for Lancashire.
I tell you, when he played for Sussex, he always got runs or wickets against Worcestershire, Luke Wells. but he won't tonight. Dorcius bowling. Wells, very tall man, holds his bat up high and pushes this one back down the pitch. Bowler himself will do the fielding. Not an ideal time to come in, is it? With you know, you haven't got time to pick up the pace of the pitch, have you? You just got to get on with it.
Yeah. You just got to give it the long handle, as they say.
If you clatter a quick 20 or 30, you'll have done a good job. Dorcius about to complete his third over, and this is high in the sky, and he's going to get underneath of this Charlie Morris, and he does get underneath it, and Wells goes for a duck, caught by Charlie Morris. In the end, a comfortable catch, and Dorcius picks up his second wicket, and Lancashire all of a sudden are 122 for 6.
Yeah, trying to up the ante, like you say. Doesn't have time to get his eye in. He has to try and score boundaries, shuffle down, and he's almost caught in no man's land there, trying to flick it off his feet. Didn't know whether to go for the 6 or try and knock it onto the leg side, and all he could do was chip it down long on the throat. So another important wicket for Worcestershire. There's nothing better than taking wickets to check the run rate.
No, we get 2 new batsmen in, or 1 new batsman on this occasion. Worcestershire's overseas players are doing their job tonight. Sodhi 1 for 24, Dorcius 2 for 20, so 3 for 44 of 8 overs between them.
Nothing better than having a little view from the hotel balcony. Look at that as well.
There's a lot up there,
isn't there?
Great time, aren't they?
Yeah.
Bit of room service.
Well, why not? don't want to move, do you, when the cricket's on? Luke Wood, the new batsman. Morris coming in from the Anderson end. That's bouncing in front of short third man. And Wood gets a single off a little top edge, skimming off the bat and bouncing in front of short third, and there's 1 run for Wood. 123 for 6. I make it 34 dot balls in this innings. It feels like too many.
It is far too many. It is one of the statistics that, you know, all the analysts will come in 2020 with all these statistics about, you know, winning matches, and dot balls is always right up there with something you got to avoid. Unless your boundary count's up, you can soak up some dot balls. But
well, as we know, that's not been the case, has it, from Lancashire Lightning's point of view? Been few and far between, but some terrific bowling for the Rapids, backed up by, in the main, apart from that one slip up by Ed Barnard, but we'll forgive him. He's an exceptional fielder. Fielding's been good. Coming in from the deep is Ross Whiteley here, as it's worked away through the onside, and they've come back for a second, and there should always be 2 there, as Stephen's been saying, and that's exactly what they've done. They've worked 2 by running the first really hard. Loads of ground for Ross Whiteley to get across to try and make up. Jones moves to 26.
Dorcius, of course, has got 1 more over left, so that was off 7 overs, 3 for 44 between the overseas players.
Yeah, 2 for 20 from 3, Dorcius. Morris to Jones. Shuffled down the pitch and pushing away into the offside. No run. Correction, 1 run. To 27 now, Rob Jones. 126 for 6. Who else has got overs left here? Ed Barnard's got 2 left. 2 for 11. Morris, yeah, he's got 1 more after this.
Yeah. So that'll be the 20, wouldn't it? Dorcius and Morris to bowl the last 2.
Here comes Morris in and bowling. Wookers onto his toes, chopping away through the offside. And it's picked up inside the ring. And Darryl Mitchell, who instantly comes jogging up to have a little chat, and disappears from one side of the circle to the other. 1 to 7 for 6. Wood off strike. He's on 2. Another change to the field. Fine leg dropping back. So there's 4 on the leg side. Long on, a deep mid wicket. Deep backward square leg, fine leg. Deep extra cover as well. Jones comes down the pitch, drives to mid off. It'll just be a single. 28 to him now. And 128 for 6.
That big red brick building over there, does it say University Academy on it?
It does. Yeah.
Used to belong to Kellogg's.
It did.
They had a great big K on the end of it.
Yeah.
In fact, you can still
You
see
can still see, yeah.
You can still see the K.
The
It's gone,
silhouette,
but you can still see where it was.
There it is, yeah. Top right, just see the K.
Yeah.
On the top of the building. As Wood goes right across his stump, trying to just flick it in between his legs, I think. But the ball thumps onto his pad, gets through for a leg by. End of the over. 2 remain. 129 for 6. Jones 28. Wood on 2. Lancashire supporters making a note of the score. Our friend with the Roses hat on there, Mike. He doesn't look happy. He feels that he looks like it could be a bit light, he reckons.
I think the comment field on the scorecard is being suitably used there. He's running out of ink.
And he's got aphids on his roses as well. He's not having a good day, is he? It's Dorchester to bowl over number 19 from the Statham end. And this one is cracked away. They're going to be quick here because D'Oliveira's in, but again, both batsmen very quickly into their work. Didn't really get hold of it, Luke Wood, but there was a comfortable single to D'Oliveira. Former Worcestershire player, of course, Luke Wood, who had a loan spell and has won the T20 final at Edgbaston 2 years running with 2 different teams. And there can't be many people who've done that.
He got there 3 years running with Lancashire last year, but obviously didn't win it.
No. Hello, somebody needs to sit down.
Hello, yeah.
Sit down.
Sit down.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Push the doors together and sit down. Okay, where are we? In the 19th over, that was the first ball of it. 130 for 6, Lancashire. Next ball is very short from Dorchester and plays a double-handed backhand there, I think. It was quite. It was a slow bouncer, and he almost got there before the ball had got there, so he had to sort of delay and then flicked it away for a single. Jones goes to 29. Wood on 3, 131 for 6. And a glorious Old Trafford evening. Sorry to keep on about it, but we haven't had the opportunity that often. Dorchester, and this time that's a nicely timed shot through the offside. Only going to get a single. Ed Barnard is the sweeper on the extra cover boundary. One more to the Lancashire total. 132 for 6. That 165 looks some way off at the moment.
Yeah, this is just a case now of getting something on the board to put Worcester under a semblance of pressure.
There's a great big bee goes flying across our window as next ball is hitting away high in the air, and it's over the top of Ricky Vessels. It's way over the top of Ricky Vessels at long on for 6. 138 for 6.
Yeah, that was a good shot. Walked across the stumps again, looking to target the short side, and Dorchester, one of the rare poor balls that he bowled right in the slot. And Jones wasn't going to miss that. A nice big shot over wide, long on, easily for 6.
Was he caught in the crowd as well? I think he was.
Well, somebody in the crowd must have handled the ball because the umpire had to disinfect it. Here's Dorchester in again, and this time a slower delivery, which tries to cut, but really hasn't got the room there. Needed to go way across the crease for that one. Remains on 35, Jones. Useful 35, though, in the context of the innings. 75 for 1 at one time. Lancashire crumbled to 85 for 4, then 122 for 4, and then lost 2 wickets with the total on 122. It's now 138 for 6. The shadows lengthen and the evening draws nigh, and the busy world is hushed. Here's Dorchester in again, and this is flicked away down to deep square leg. D'Oliveira comes in off the boundary to field. End of the over, and Dorchester finishes with, though his figures have just disappeared off the board, I reckon he's finished with 2 for 30.
I think you're right.
4 overs.
Yep. Decent returns there for the Rapids. Barnard's chipped in with a couple, he's gone for 11. Mitchell 2, just gone for 15. Ish Sodi 4 overs, 1 for 24. Morris is going to bowl out 3 overs, 1 for 17. Some terrific work with the ball by the Rapids.
Yeah, only Pennington who gone at 10s. Everyone else has been very manageable. Setting up I'd say it's probably an average, maybe slightly below par score.
What can Jones do with the bat? Final over. Oh, he's in position to try and ramp it nice and early, and he's got a hold of it. And the ball runs away from Sodit and down towards the boundary. Well, he's tried to play that shot 2 or 3 times, Rob Jones. He was stood there waiting in position for it. It was there a few seconds before the ball had left the bowler's hand, but he improvised and he's got 4 for it.
Like slow motion, wasn't it? He'd got into the ramp position and the bowler hadn't even got to the crease yet. Like, go on.
I think he was just turning at the end of his run, wasn't he, Charlie Morris?
He was in position nice and early.
Did you ever play that shot, Morsey?
I did. I tried to. I remember at one point Chaminda Vaas trying to play the reverse ramp and horribly executed, and Chaminda just walked up to me and quietly just shook his head from about 2 feet away. I said, "What are you doing?"
1, 4, 3 for 6. It'll step down the pitch and chips it over. Backward point. Successive boundaries. Luke Wood, like City, kind of applauds Rob Jones. Slashed away, up and over point, away from D'Oliveira and down towards the boundary. For 4, this is a very handy little knock for Rob Jones. 44 from 31, 147 for 6.
Yeah, lovely knock. Talk about left-arm seam bowlers. Chaminda Vaas has to be one of the best.
Oh, he's a good bowler, isn't he? Good bowler.
Swing left-arm bowlers I've ever played with.
Yeah.
Or against. So why, with that in mind, as Morris comes in and bowls to Jones, he goes back and tries to chop the ball away through the offside for a single. He moves to 45, 148 for 6. Did you try to play the reverse ramp off him?
I can only put it down to a rush of blood to the head.
To you, Stephen?
I think it was probably because I tried every other shot and I couldn't get it off the square, so I was down to the bare bones of the cupboard, of which I did not have. I don't even think I tried to play that in the nets before, so there was no chance of it coming off.
Didn't he have the longest name in first-class cricket at one time, Chaminda Vaas? He had 84 letters in his name or something.
3 balls left of the innings. Wood takes it on, smacks it over long on. Who's underneath this one? It doesn't really matter. It's cleared the rope, it's cleared the fence, it's in the stands. It's gone for 6 to bring up the 150 for Lancashire Lightning. That was swatted by Luke Wood.
That came right out of the meat of the bat, that did. It went almost as high as the floodlights, that. This is proving to be a very, very useful over. We were talking about momentum at the start of the game. Well, there's momentum within matches as well, and you often talk about it. If you can go into the change room with a bit of momentum, it can really set yourself up. So it's an important over, this.
That's 10 off 6. Luke Wood. Jones, by the way, he's 45. That's his best career T20 score. 154 for 6. 2 balls left. Wood waiting, tapping his bat. In comes Morris. He's got right across his stumps and the ball disappears, I think, without hitting anything. Yeah, it's deflected off his pad for a leg by.
So interesting where he was stood when he bowled that. He was stood, about a foot outside his off stump, I think. No, we don't get a replay of that, but he was way outside his off stump before the bowler bowled the ball.
Last ball then. Where's he going to try and put this?
Well, if he wants a 50, he's going to be having to go over the offside. I'm not seeing him hit it for 6 to that long side boundary, but we'll see. A boundary of any kind would be a welcome bonus, yeah.
Well, Morris in with a dot ball. It's been a decent last over. It's been a good last over for Lancashire Lightning. Morris in to Jones. Slow ball. He's got 4 for it. He'll finish on 49. Well, that's given Lancashire much-needed impetus at their end of their innings. It might have just taken the edge off the Worcestershire Rapids. Kind of general feel about how they've gone about it. 159 for 6 is what Lancashire Lightning have ended on. And that man there, Rob Jones, that's his T20 best score for Rob Jones. He's finished 49 not out.
Yeah, that was a nice little bit of impetus at the end, that last over. 4-4, 1-6, 1-4. Really good over for Lancashire, and they'll be going to the change room feeling a little bit more positive than they would have been feeling about 5 minutes ago, that's for sure.
Yeah, 20 off the last over, was it not? As you say.
Yep.
that really gives it a boost. It's a funny old game.
It is, yeah.
But you know, in this game, 2 good overs, 2 bad overs from the field inside, it just changes immediately, doesn't it?
It does. It really does turn on a couple of balls here or there. Suddenly the momentum can completely shift, and you know, 160 is a score that's a really interesting score in 2020 now. It's not, you know, something any side fears, but it's big enough that, you know, you're going to have to play well. And as a bowling side, you know, if you can get a couple of wickets, put them under pressure, it could be an interesting evening's work here. So yeah, I think it's set up.
160 then required for the Rapids to win this game. A 49 not out from Rob Jones, 10 not out from Luke Wood. Bit of momentum at the end of their innings. 159 for 6 from 20, so 157 will win it for Worcestershire Rapids.
So 159 for 6 for Lancashire. That'll be 160 to chase then for the Worcester Rapids when they come out to bat very shortly. It is a competitive total. If you just look at what happened earlier in the first of our double-header, which was the women's game against Ireland, and that was 156 for 5, which wasn't certainly something that the Irish could chase, so it may well be the same happens and it's the same pitch. So who knows, maybe that's something of a marker for us to follow. But let us, before we talk to Warren Hegg, remind you of how Lancashire got that 159 for 6.
All right, mate. Live on TV.
So Warren Hegg is alongside me here at Emirates Old Trafford. The sun is just taking a dip below the temporary stand, but we're still warm enough and pleasant enough in this rather balmy evening. And we saw some sticky middle overs, but a good start and a good end, particularly from Rob Jones, of course, and that's a competitive total.
Definitely a competitive total. 160 to win. Par score here at Emirates Old Trafford. You know, hopefully now the bowlers can put a bit of a squeeze on, make it difficult for them to score. I thought it was a good effort in the end. I thought we were looking like we were really labouring at first, weren't we? But Rob Jones has come in there, Hugh, taken his chance with both hands, played some amazing cricket shots. He was busy, he was dynamic, and he's got us up to a good total.
There are countless players that have come through the ranks here at Lancashire from the youth system, countless players who have gone on to do magnificent things, but each and every time we need that moment where we're introduced to them on a wider scale and we understand how skilled they are, and Rob Jones has maybe had that day today.
Very much so, and I think he worked the wicket out pretty quickly. He realised that it wasn't coming onto the bat as much as the dynamic batsman in front of him would have liked, and he's worked it out that he needed to work the ball around a big field here at Emirates Old Trafford. Ones and twos were the order of the day. Get us into that 1-2 overs at the end of it. He's unleashed and he's played some great shots and nearly got his 50 as well. One off his 50. I'll give him 50 for that.
You'll give him a bonus one. That's not how it works for him, but I like the sentiment nonetheless. Yeah, it's interesting because he's one of those players who has always been excellent in the field. When England play here and they need a 12th man to come on from the local club, he's often been that player in the past, and he's made a difference for that reason. And you can see the scampering, making ones into twos, twos into threes. You don't see threes in T20 cricket very often, but that was a hallmark of his innings.
One thing you'll get from Jonesy is energy. You'll get energy, whatever the wicket's like, whatever the situation are like, or how he's batting. You're always going to get that energy off someone like Rob. On the field, off the field, he's a live wire in the dressing room. And sometimes when it's a laboured performance a little bit like that and it's not coming onto the bat, that's the spark you need.
Warren, lovely to see you. We'll catch up a little bit later on. Now, many of you will have lockdown heroes, the kind of people who over the course of the pandemic have gone above and beyond to prove just how crucial they are to a local community or group of people. And we are stood here with a couple of gentlemen, and particularly the gentleman on the right-hand side, who is Ben Tanner, who is one of 11 lockdown heroes that, courtesy of Lancashire and Emirates, have had something of a day of it. And Ben, first of all, before we tell you about what you've been granted today as a result, tell us a little bit about what you've been doing over lockdown, and I think you've been on your bike quite significantly.
Yeah, that's right. I help out with the Lancashire Lions Visually Impaired Sports Club, who obviously play cricket as well. Obviously with the lockdown, they were quite isolated in terms of the visual impairment and everything, so I managed to get some funding in to deliver some Fitbits for them to try and keep active during the sort of lockdown period, and I cycled round delivering the Fitbits to them all throughout Lancashire.
And this gentleman nominated you, and he's now holding a microphone as well, so he obviously appreciates you. Sir, thank you very much indeed. Ben, well done. Each and every player of the Lancashire team today has donated a shirt that they have signed as well to each of the 11 lockdown heroes, and Ben's player is Stephen Croft. So Ben, congratulations. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
It's much more important you're up there having a drink than you are down here chatting to me. To Ben Tanner and to all of the 10 others, congratulations to you. You are the lockdown heroes nominated and selected by Lancashire and Emirates. We have cricket on the way very soon indeed, so it's back to our commentary team.
Music industry for the last 7 years since finishing due to coronavirus, you know, we were in the middle of a tour with Blossoms in Southampton, and they were like, oh, there's talk of coronavirus happening, you know, the gigs are going to finish, and we were like, yeah, but it won't affect the music industry. Next thing, 18 months down the line, you know, there's been no sign of a gig at all. So it was more than just trying to find things as opposed to, you know, make a bit of, you know, pay my bills. So yeah. it was doing a bit of stuff with the academy girls in the winter, which progressed to staying involved this summer. So now I'm overlooking the county age group, I suppose, system from the under 11 through the under 18s, and then as and when being involved with the main team.
And so, do you see a progression back into the music industry, or do you feel as though this is you now?
This is me. You know, I love it. I think it's, you know, when you've been involved in cricket for so long, when you finish it was sort of a bit of a weight off your shoulders. You know, it's like, you know, going to something else. But this has just rekindled, you know, my love of cricket and the reason you started in the first place. And I think, you know, going into the women's stuff, it's sort of a clean slate as well. You know, everyone's sort of vying to start their careers as well. So it's just feels like a great opportunity with a great bunch of people.
We've got Kyle Hogg with us, former Lancashire bowler, now very much involved in the setup with Lancashire's women's side, part of the Thunder coaching setup. Say it quietly, was in charge of the team today. Good job you won, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good job.
What do you reckon here then? We've got Stephen Croft opened up the bowling for Lancashire Lightning from the Anderson end, bowling to Ricky Vessels off the back foot, driven to mid-off, and there's no run. What do you reckon? You've played it enough times. 160 enough?
Yeah, I think that knock from Rob Jones sort of turned it on its head a bit. You know, it was a great knock from him himself. You know, he'll get a lot of confidence from that, and then, you know, you look at the Worcester lineup, they've got some very powerful players, so, you know, very important for 6 overs. But with, you know, with our ball and attack and the dimensions of the ground, we'll back ourselves to keep the squeeze on and pick up the wickets.
It could be a bit of a trial by spin then again, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the spinners in the team, you know, they're definitely going to bowl 8 to 10 overs between them anyway. So it's...
It's driven a little uppishly by D'Oliveira. There's a few oohs, including from Kyle, as it went to the left of Keaton Jennings. Just the 1 run, though. 2 without loss. Brings Ricky Vessels on strike. You know, they've got lots of spinning options there, haven't they? With Croft, obviously. Matt Parkinson and Tom Hartley. We've got kind of Luke Wells, Rob Jones, even if needed, I guess, you know.
Yeah, Rob Jones can bowl some good leg spin. And obviously it's a used pitch because we've been on it already, so hopefully it's, you know, it works to our advantage. You know, holding in the pitch a bit and yeah, using the very large outfield to ours.
With Croft in and bowling to Vessels, pushing off the front foot into the offside and get through for a single. Vessels moves to 2. Score moves on to 3 without loss. So in terms of the Thunder, because today it was Lancashire's women, so not under the Thunder banner today, as D'Oliveira clips the ball off his hip to square leg for 1. Thunder back in action on Sunday. It's back into the T20, isn't it, this on Sunday?
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't, I'm not involved in those games, so that'll be Stephen Parry and Craig White will be doing those. So yeah, it's just good preparation for all of them. You know, it's about building confidence. You know, they've all had a good run out today, so hopefully, you know, they're going to the game at the weekend and they're ready to go, because, you know, like today we did play an international team, but it was a friendly, whereas, you know, a weekend you're playing for points, and that's what you're judged on at the end of the season.
There's something, and Lancashire supporters listening to this, as Saqib Mahmood comes into the attack from the Stay the Mend, there's something quite nice to hear. I've got Stephen Moore, he's going to come back in a minute, but Stephen Moore's with us tonight. He's with me every year for the last goodness knows how many years doing commentary, but it's great to have Stephen. I've got Paul Houghton with me tomorrow. You're back here working, Stephen Parry's back here working. I think it's terrific as Mahmood comes in, bowls full of length, driven into the offside for no run. Maybe getting a bit soppy, but it's lovely that you guys are still kind of involved, either kind of officially with the club or still covering games, whatever it might be, and that 2011 team, man, is terrific.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, we're all cricket fans, aren't we? You know, we all want to see the next group of Lancashire players perform well and win things, because, you know, when you finish your career, them are the things that you remember.
Could it be just a final one in terms of the county championship 10 years on? Saqib Mahmood in and bowling, and D'Oliveira up onto his toes and playing it into the offside, no run, dot ball. Could this year be the year? Perhaps.
Yeah,
crack at the title.
Yeah, why not? You know, we've got. You look at our squad; it's a really strong squad. We cover all bases, and, you know, get on a bit of a roll. You win some games, and then the points accumulate.
Aye, very true. Kyle, we'll let you go. I really appreciate you coming up and joining us. Congratulations. Glad you enjoyed it today.
Yep, brilliant. Thanks very much.
Did you have your kind of pre-match team talk in mind? Here's Mahmood into D'Oliveira, step to leg side, carved straight into the off. Terrific catch. Wonderful grab by Luke Wells at extra cover. And Mahmood strikes in his first over. D'Oliveira down on one knee, driving into the offside. And a sharp-looking catch from Luke Wells. 4 for 1, halfway into the second over. Thank you, Kyle. Oh no, did you have your team talk pre-planned or not? Was it off the cuff? Is it?
It was off the cuff.
Was it really? Okay, good stuff.
I would like to say I've been watching videos of Winston Churchill, but no.
I did down was kind of Mike Bassett.
All good though. It's been a really good day, and you know, hopefully we'll get the win tonight as well.
Thank you. Cheers, Kyle. Really appreciate it. Well done, mate. Kyle Howe joining us live here at Emirates Old Trafford. Well done today. Thank you for your time. Dave Bradley's back in the commentary box. Dave, if you say a few words, because I need to sanitise Stephen's headphones.
Say a little where for you. Yes, why not indeed. That was a good catch by Wall. Drilled straight at him, but a couple of metres either side, and they got 4 runs written all over it. And D'Oliveira, the man definitely in form for Worcestershire, so an early wicket. Vital for Lancashire. Here's Mahmood, right arm over into bowl, and this time it's just inside edge onto the pad of the new batsman Jake Libby, and the tall figure of Wells races in to do the fielding. I told you he always does something against Worcestershire, Luke Wells. In his Sussex days, he'd come on bowling those lobby little leg breaks. And you bat against him, Luke Wells?
Thankfully, no.
Oh, okay. I can't remember how old you are, so this is the trouble.
I didn't play against Luke, but he never bowled.
Here's Mahmood, got a slip in for the right-handed Libby. Libby, ooh, he has a big wahoo with that one. There's some pace on that, because Villas has stood well back and took that one in front of his chin. It really flew off the surface. Good start this from Lancashire. 160 needed for a Worcestershire victory. Slip has disappeared, gone to mid-wicket, so 3 inside the circle on the leg side and 4 inside the circle on the offside. Third man and deep square leg are the men out. Away he goes. Floodlights just beginning to take effect. Bowls, and Libby once again plays and misses at this one. That is a good over from Mahmood. He's bowled a maiden over and taken a wicket, and the crowd are in it now. The crowd are really into this now. They've really got the proverbial bit between their teeth.
Well, I love seeing the ball fly through past the batsman's nose, don't they, to the keeper, slapping into the gloves behind. It's a sight. It's nothing better. I remember playing over in the West Indies, and that's all they wanted to see all day. They don't want to see anything else. Yeah. They just wanted to see the ball whistling past the batsman's nose, and then all the comments would come from 100 metres away. You could hear them
chin
dancing.
Music. Chin music, they call it, isn't it? Yeah.
And you're saying, come on,
he's
guys.
going to bowl. The aforementioned Luke Wells.
Oh, yes,
no, Tom Hartley.
Oh, is it?
It is.
Oh, does a very good impression of.
He does.
He's in a Luke Wells tribute band, you know, Tom Hartley.
He's a very similar body shape, isn't he?
He is, yes.
Kind of tall and lean, just a few years younger. But yeah, it will be Hartley. So it will be spin, so it's going to be a double spin from the Anderson end. Oh, and he's fizzed this one horribly down the leg side, and that ball hits the advertising board. It'll have to be potentially sanitised again. Maybe it's gone for 4 wides though. And double teapot from Tom Hartley.
And a bit of a teapot from the skipper, I think, behind the stumps.
Teapots all round.
Call that a first delivery. Reconsider my decision about bowling you.
Yeah. 9 for 1. Hartley in. Off the back foot goes Ricky Vessel. That's driven up to mid-off. No run. So the 2 outside the circle. Long on, just in front of the pavilion. And a deep mid-wicket. Angled in towards Vessels. Good comeback this from Hartley. Next 2 deliveries. It's defended and there's no run. Hartley, tall left arm spinner. Vessels down on one knee, trying to clip it around the corner. Picked up by Matt Parkinson. And Vessels gets through for a single.
I'd like to see the radar gun, but I reckon he's bowling about 10 miles an hour faster than Daryl Mitchell.
Yeah. Yeah, he's whipping it through, isn't he? Particularly that one that he really whips in towards the batsman's feet.
Hartley in.
That one.
Pushed away by Libby and there's no run. Yeah, it's a bit of a dart, isn't it, from Tom Hartley. Lancashire have had a history of producing some good left-arm spinners. He's muscled or nudged away rather into the onside. So it's a good comeback this from Tom Hartley. His first was speared down the leg side for a wide. Stephen Moore's taken him out the attack straight away. But he's come back pretty well. Just a 1 run since. Final ball of it. Libby on naught. Keeper crouching down. Libby trying to swap the ball away. Oh, and then pick up and throw towards the bowler's end. Got through for a bye. I think some of the crowd think he's giving him out, but no. he's just singing the bar. Look at the little smile on the face of the umpire, Ian Blackwell. End of the 3rd over, 11 for 1.
Well, I think was it one run off the bat in the last 2 overs? Mahmood bowled a maiden.
Yep.
There was one off a miss-hit sweep there, and the other 4 were wides. So, very good start here from Lancashire. Luke Wood. Of course, Kyle Hogger, you were just talking to, is another former Worcestershire player. He had a short spell on loan at New Road, didn't he?
Yeah, I like to book and guess that, you know, that cover both teams.
You do very well, you. Despite what they all say about you, I think you're all right, mate. So it'll be Luke Wood to bowl some left arm over. As I say, those floodlights just beginning to take effect. You can see the 4 little shadows following Luke Wood. Thankfully, no Cliff Richard, though. And this is Libby. Well, waits this one, and down the ground he goes, and that's smashed away for 4. 2 ex-Nottinghamshire fellas in opposition here, and Libby with a mighty blow down the ground. Libby having a great season for Worcestershire. He says, reaching through his notes that he can't find. Yeah, I mean, doing very well in the county championship, but he's got 204 runs, an average of 40, just over 40 in this competition. Highest score is 78 not out. Here's Wood. And this ball sees Libby smashing it over deep mid-wicket. That's away. 1 bounce, 4. Really climbed into that one. Just stood up nicely, that one. For
It did, yeah, but 2 good shots. Both that shot and the shot before. He wasn't trying to hit them for 6. He was just trying to slap them hard down the ground. So they did go the aerial route, both of them, but they had good spin on them, so they just shut off. He's looks like he's a solid little player that's got a good stance, good strong base. Thanks, we'll get him up.
Wood in balls. Libby plays away on the offside. Big shout of no. There's the ring of 5 inside the circle on the offside. Takes a bit of getting through there, and on this occasion Jake Libby didn't.
Wasn't that a song, The Ring of Fire?
Ring of Fire, yeah. Johnny Cash. I fell into a burning ring of fire.
I knew you were going to burst into song then.
Yeah, it's just like he's just walked in.
Very similar.
Wood. Not that tall for a pace bowler, but very whippy action and bowls, and this is turned away by Libby on the leg side. Picks up a single, 1 more to the Worcestershire total. It was that Stephen Croft out on the boundary.
Yep.
Doing the fielding.
Likes to get in the action, does Stephen Croft in the field. More often than not, you find him in an area where the ball likes to travel.
Seems to have been playing forever, Stephen Croft. He does, doesn't he? It's every Lancashire team you ever saw in history. He seems to have been playing. Wood. From the stay of the men, in and bowls to Vessels. Vessels tucks it away off his pads. Only a single, though. Or more to the Worcestershire total, goes to 22 for 1. And we have 1 ball left of the 4th over. They need 160 for victory. Looked as if Lancashire were going to fall below what we thought was a par score. But then Jones with 49 not out, and Wood with 10. And I think they scored 37 in the last 2 and a bit overs to take them to 159 for 6. Wood's away again, and this time Libby's got the ball down the ground. It's in the air for a long time, but it falls short of Keaton Jennings. Jennings has a shy at the stumps at the non-striker's end, but I think Libby was in anyway. Completes the over. 22 for 1 at the end of 4 overs. You get the 12th man coming on with caps and taking jumpers off at the moment because the umpires won't hold on to them. I'm wondering if when all this is over, the umpires are going to say, you can carry on doing that. I'm not carrying 8 sweaters and 4 caps around. Do you reckon? I reckon they will.
There's probably a few people who are suggesting some of their teammates should remain in full PPE.
22 for 1. Mahmood coming back into the attack. system. One over Croft, one from Hartley, and now a bit of pace for the first time from the Anderson end. And Libby steps the leg side, goes high through the off. The cheers will tell you he's been caught by Keaton Jennings. Potentially a big wicket that for Lancashire Lightning. As Dave mentioned, he's been in terrific form with the bat for the Rapids. Didn't get a hold of that one as cleanly as he would have liked. Went up towards extra cover. Jennings, safe pair of hands. 2 down, 22 for 2.
Yeah, and the one thing that he had previously was that good solid base. There he didn't. He was backing away, didn't have a strong position to try and play that shot, and just completely fluffed it. Really barely made the 30-yard circle, trying to loft it over cover off the an unbalanced position. So yeah, he'll be disappointed with that, because he'd actually looked pretty good the over before, and Worcester could have done without losing a wicket there.
Yeah, and their two of their informed batsmen have gone as well. Interesting, Daryl Mitchell coming in at 4 because they've lost a couple of wickets. I think if Worcestershire had been 50 for 1 and they'd lost a wicket, then I suspect Cox or Whiteley might have come in. They've shuffled it around.
D'Oliveira for 2, Libby for 10, the 2 wickets. Mahmood to Ricky Vessels. Runs here, just a little glance off the hip. Down to fine leg. And there's Danny Lamb in full PPE to field the ball. 26 for 2. With his gloves on and his mask on. He runs for Ricky Vessels. 2 wickets in the power play. Won't want to be losing a third in these 6 overs. 26 runs on the board. Vessels 8 from 9. Mahmood from the Anderson end in the bowling. Just helped away into the offside. Pick up an underarm throw is a smart piece of work by Rob Jones. Got through for a little cheeky single though. Ricky Vessels moves to 9, 27 for 2. By the way, England are heading for a second successive victory in the one-day international series. Captain Owen Morgan on 69, Joe Root on 55. It's a 224 for 2, need 18 off 60 to make it 2 wins from 2. In fact, that will clinch the series, only a 3-match series. Third game on Sunday in Bristol.
At least they made a bit of a game of it in this one, Sri Lanka.
Yep.
They're a shadow of the team that they were, aren't they? I was reading today about people who were involved in the coaching, and Sangakkar, and I think Jaminda Vass is involved as well in the coaching of the team. They just haven't got the players. They're very much a development team, aren't they?
Slip in place, which is Keaton Jennings. Mahmood comes in and bowls. Pushed away by Mitchell. That's a good looking shot actually. Just eased away through extra cover. Look at the timing of that. That's a beautiful shot. That's 4 runs underneath the body of Luke Wells at short extra cover. Just eased into it, didn't he? What a lovely shot for 4. 31 for 2.
A proper cricket shot.
I know, you can still play proper cricket shots in 2020. You know, especially with the pace that Mahmood's got. You don't have to do much. You just have to find the gap. And like I keep saying on this outfield here at Old Trafford, you don't have to smash it for 6 over the top of the fielders' heads. If you hit it on the ground, if you beat the fielders, it'll race away for 4.
It's almost like you've played here, Stephen.
Yeah.
When the pitch was the other way around.
Well, that slip's disappeared to mid-wicket. There's a mid-on, mid-wicket square leg. It's on the power play. Mahmood bowling. Helped off the down towards the square leg field up by Mitchell. A short ball. It was a quick ball from Mahmood. Just gets it off his hip and gets a run for it. Mitchell moves up to 5. 32 for 2. Brings Ricky Vessels back on strike. There's a third man in a deep backward square. They're the 2 outside the circle. Saqib Mahmood. He just recently come back into the Lancashire T20 side, playing at Northamptonshire and at Notts in the previous 2 games, having been out with injury. Comes tearing in and bowls to Vessels, who's pulling behind square leg. What a lovely shot for 4. Up off the back foot, working it off his hip. Backward of square beyond the reach of Davies, who's lurking down on the boundary at backward square leg. Terrifically timed pull shot off the hip. 36 for 2 at the end of the 5th.
Yeah, you got every piece of that. It was lovely, quick hands. Mahmood will be probably a bit unhappy in the fact that he wanted to get it higher, but the intent is there, bashing it into the wicket. Vessels was up to the task. A lovely swivel pull shot. Davis is losing his footing out there on the outfield, so couldn't get anywhere near it.
Change of bowling at the Statham end. Luke Wells, doppelganger. Tom Hartley is going to come on a bowl.
I mentioned before that Lancashire had a rich recent history of left-arm spinners. Gary Keady and Simon Kerrigan and Stephen Parry and now Tom Hartley.
Hartley to bowl to Daryl Mitchell. Mitchell goes back and across, plays the ball back down the pitch. A slower ball, I thought, from the ones that Hartley was bowling, because he was really spearing them in. That one he seemed to float it up a little more. This time bowls him, clean bowl. Mitchell trying to drive it back down the ground. How much it turned, it'd be difficult for us to tell with the naked eye. We've got a replay here from the side, which doesn't do much good. There we are. We still don't know how much however much it turned enough to bowl Daryl Mitchell, and Worcestershire lose their third wicket. They're in a bit of trouble here, I would suggest, chasing 160 for victory. They are 36 for 3.
Here we go.
He's just missed a straight one, really.
Straight on, isn't it?
Yeah, went pretty much straight. He'll be disappointed with that. They're looking to just try and almost punch it down to mid-on, and I wouldn't say he played all round it, but just seemed to miss it, whether he played outside the line. Like you say, that was he would have definitely come in looking to try and be the person to bat deep into the innings for Worcestershire, give them a base from one end. So he'll be upset the fact that he's not been able to do that this evening, with all his experience, obviously. But it brings the captain to the crease, and it has to be said, he's probably going to have to play a captain's innings here. He definitely has the ability to get Worcester over the line, and if he knows if he's batting at the end, Worcester will probably be in a winning position. But he's going to have to play a captain innings tonight.
Here's Hartley, left arm round the wicket, Cox, and eases the ball away on the leg side. They will settle for one, as the aforementioned Luke Wells picks up and returns. 37 for 3. This the last over of the power play. 3 balls remain of it. Hartley jogs in. This time Vessels pushes down the ground. He's not going to get a run here. It's directly to Rob Jones, who's at mid-on. Scuttles into field. Next ball. And this time Vessels goes back and attempts to cut, doesn't time it, no pace on the ball for him to work with. Pushes it away to cover point, where Alex Davis is the fielder. Last ball of the 6th over, 37 for 3 Worcestershire. And this time Vessels does get a single. Pushes it away on the onside. One it'll be. And at the end of the power play, Worcestershire are 38 for 3. Men out, D'Oliveira caught Wells, bowled Mahmood 2. Libby caught Jennings, bowled Mahmood 10. Mitchell bowled Hartley for 5. Wickets going down at 4, 22 and 36.
This is Tom Hartley's just his 20th T20 match. Made his debut in the Blast last year. He's picked up 12 wickets.
There's a little lad on the pictures. If you're probably getting these on the stream as well, the flag is bigger than him. he can sleep under that flag tonight.
He could wrap himself up in that quite happily. Yeah. One spinner has finished an over. A new one is just about to start, Matt Parkinson. But since Hartley came into the Lancashire team, there's only 3 bowlers. Parkinson's in and bowling, worked away by Ricky Vessels up towards backward square leg for a single. He moves to 15, 39 for 3, who have bowled a minimum of 50 overs in T20 cricket, who've got a better economy rate than Tom Hartley. So the requirement is a minimum 50 overs bowled. And only Marshall, Keady and McCullum have got better economy rates in T20 for Lancashire than
Nathan McCullum. Goodness
Tom
me,
Hartley.
that takes me back to old Nathan playing.
Parkinson to Cox. Back and working the ball into the onside. And there's one run. And I noticed that of the top 10, 6 of them are spinners. And you think back 19 years when the blast started.
Oh, spinners.
Spinners were done for, weren't they?
Take the middle of the summer off.
Absolutely, yeah.
Go on the beach.
Parkinson again to Ricky Vessels, right back into his crease, works the ball off his hip through mid-wicket. Davies comes up to field, 41 for 3. But yeah, 6 of the top 10 in Lancashire's best list of economy rate bowlers in T20 cricket are spinners.
That'll have something to do with 50% of the matches being played here at Old Trafford.
That helps. Parkinson to Cox. Pushing into the onside. And Davies comes up.
I remember Morsey going mental at some of the away grounds. We'd turn up and we'd be playing on a postage stamp, and you'd be like, "What's going on?" And the Sky cameras would be there, bring the field in. And he's going, "Get the boundary out." And this big argument with Sky, and Morsey would be out there.
2 balls left with Parkinson's first over. He's gone for 4 so far. Met that 5. There's Ricky Vessels with a little flick off the hip to backward square leg for 1. 17 off 17 for him. Cox 3 off 3. They're both going to run the ball. Last ball of the 7th. There's Parkinson's leg spin from the Anderson end. Forward goes Cox, pushing into the offside. Croft inside the ring, an extra cover fields. Throwing himself around. He thinks he's still 21. It's the end of the over, 43 for 3.
Did you play in the game here? It was the first season, I think, after the pitch had been turned around. And I'm not sure it was a spinner bowled the 7th over of the game. And I think Moen took 112 for 3 or something ridiculous. And it turned straight away.
Oh, yeah.
Did you play in that one?
Yeah. I did, yeah.
Wasn't
Moen
it
was turning
Croft?
square.
Wasn't it Croft?
I think Croft bowled the 7th over.
Yeah.
It could well have been. Yeah. That was a turner.
That was on a pitch, I think, towards the edge of the square, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's been some turning wickets, that's for sure, at this ground. But it normally is a really good cricket wicket, though. I would say more often than not, the Old Trafford wickets were what I would classify as really good cricket wickets. There's a bit of turn. There tends to be enough pace and bounce to keep the seam bowlers in it.
Here is Luke Wood in and bowls, and this is wrapping the pads of Vessels, but he's called through for a single by Ben Cox. There might be a follow-up here because there's an overthrow coming, and it's a good throw. Cracking throw, but he's in by miles. The crowd are all appealing, and 1 or 2 of the Lancashire fielders got a bit excited, but he was well in there for me. Stephen Croft with the throw. Good throw.
And side on and thrown at pace. It's completely and utterly obliterated the stumps.
Yeah.
I always wonder whether, all these flashing lights and these new stumps and everything else, the grounds must be biting their teeth.
Next ball cut away. Nice shot by Vessels down to 3rd man. He's only going to get a single for it. 1 more to the total.
Must cost a hell of a lot more than the old wooden stumps, with the ball smashing into them with the cameras and the lights and everything in them. Please don't break the stumps.
Whenever you do, don't nick one if you're...
Yeah, I was about to say, you used to run off.
You did,
but you can't now. They're all attached by wires to the ground now. You grab the wrong stump and you pull your shoulder out of its socket.
Electrocute yourself.
Yeah.
46 for 3 in the 8th over. Worcestershire need 160 to win. Ben Cox waits. Cox turns away. On the onside, it'll only be a single. My other memory when they turned the pitch around here was we were still working in the old box. There was only 2 people in that box. I think there was myself and John Gwynn, I think. And we were doing updates every half an hour. And we had quite a heavy lunch, and we both went to sleep. Now, this is that long ago. It was pre-internet, this was. And I had to ring my daughter up to put CFAX on to find out what had happened. 2 wickets had gone down. We were both asleep. Here's the next ball from Wood, driven down the ground. He doesn't quite time that. Certainly didn't time it as well as I thought he had, Vessels. And in the end, it trickles to Parkinson, but he picks up a single. 48 for 3. Yes, I rang my daughter up and said, "You put CFAX on?" Well, I thought you were there. Well, I am, but I don't know what's happened. Good old Gwynny.
Daryl Mitchell batting at the time.
It could well have been, yeah. Here's Luke Wood. Stay the men. Left arm over to the right-handed Cox. Cox gets this one away. He was going for the pull shot, but there wasn't really enough room, so in the end he just tickled it away for a single. Not too well these days, old Johnny Gwynn, I believe. So if he's listening, John, or watching, our best wishes. By the way, somebody's just sent me a stat here that Stephen Moore's last Worcestershire game at Taunton was when Ben Cox made his first-class debut.
Yeah, I think he batted quite nicely as well down there.
He did. Next ball was nicely flicked away there by a deliberate cut through where maybe a second slip would be from Vessels. Races away down to the third-man boundary, and that takes Worcestershire to 53 for 3. 8 overs completed of the innings. They need 160 for victory. Wood 2 overs for 19 runs.
I think he was just at school then, I think, as well.
He was fetched out of Bromsgrove School.
Yeah.
Stephen Davis was injured. I think he got 40 out, and his first ever victim was Marcus Trescothick.
That is it, Dan.
Right.
It's one little feather in the cap.
I can't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday.
I was about to say, some say your memory's going. I don't believe it.
Who are you? Where are we?
England have won, by the way. Morgan and Root seeing it through for England against Sri Lanka. This is driven by Cox through extra cover for 1 run. Moves to 6. 54 for 3. So 106 required off 71 balls. Parkinson with his leg spin from the Anderson end. Heaved away through the onside, bouncing just in front of Jones and then scooped up by Davis, and then Jones sends a throw in. Well, that was 2 fielders, but it took 3 efforts, but it was very, very good work. Stopped by Jones, scooped up by Davis, and then the throw came in. He got a hold of it.
That's great fielding there by Davis. He's run 50 metres, and if he hadn't, it would have been 4.
Parkinson to Ricky Vessels, just easing the ball safely through mid-off for 1 run. You know, good piece of fielding, good work with the cameras to pick it all up as well, because that's pretty busy, wasn't it, that? Jones and Davis in tandem. Sliced away behind square on the offside, out towards deep backward point, just for 1. Cox moves to 7, 58 for 3. 2 balls left. Ricky Vessels, squad number 99. He's 26 not out. Here's Parkinson into him. Off the back foot, hit down the ground. Blimey, I think that may have just caught umpire Ian Blackwell. Oh, heck. Oh, is he all right? Oh, he looks all right. You get a bit of sympathy from his... Actually, he's getting a punch in the ribs from Ricky Vessels. He must have said something cheeky to the umpire.
Probably said get out of the way. That was 4.
Yeah.
It's quite difficult to miss Blackie there. You have to hit it wider than that.
Parkinson balls. Forward goes Cox. And it's pushed back to the bowler, and there's no run. End of the over. And umpire Blackwell's delighted that it's done and dusted. He's going to get towards a safer part of the ground. He's ridiculous, these T20 games. 9 gone, 59 for 3. Ricky Vessels has 27. Cox has 7.
Nottinghamshire not having it all their own way at Grace Road, where Leicestershire made 154. Not a 50 for 3. But that's still in the power play, so it's all happening there. Sussex 60 for 6, chasing 167 to beat Middlesex at Lords. And Gloucestershire made 161 for 7, Somerset 177 for 1 in reply. Back here, next over, and he's gone. A simple catch, totally mistimed there by Ricky Vessels. Tom Hartley won't get an easier catch all season, and Worcestershire's hopes are receding quickly, because Vessels, if he'd have stayed there, is the man who can change a game in 2 or 3 overs. But he's gone, and Worcestershire's hopes, I think, are beginning to fade. I know there's a long way to go in this game, but straight back. It was what you were saying. It was catching practice again.
It was, yeah. We've had a number of those this evening, haven't we? Where it's almost like the batsman is saying, "Here we go, have one." It was just a chip shot. At best, it would have been 1 run. back past the bowler down to one of the fielders straight. But all he could do was chip it straight back to Hartley, who said, "Thank you very much, sir." And as you say, it's now a challenge.
I've got to say that of all the different things that people bring to a T20 game, and you can come in fancy dress, we see loads of fancy dress. I've not seen many miniature musical instruments, as we just saw a few minutes ago.
No, I'm not even sure what a miniature, I think it was a trombone.
I think it was a trombone,
yes,
yeah.
But I've never seen a miniature, a trombone that size. I would love to have, I'm not sure I would have loved to have been next to him to listen to him play it, but he was, there was plenty of enthusiasm in his playing.
Yeah. It's a tiny trombone if you're watching on the live stream.
Is it a trombolina or something? I mean, there's a you got a piccolo, haven't you, which is a flute. Is there such a thing as a,
I don't know,
a miniature trombone? I don't know.
You convinced me. The way you said it was quite convincing. Sounds like you know what you're talking about. 59 for 4. Hartley 2 for 8. Might be 3 for 8. It is 3 for 8. It's 2 in 2. And Worcestershire Rapids are 5 down. 59 for 5. And Hartley strikes. And that looks pretty out.
That was dead as a dodo. That was absolutely dead straight, hitting up halfway up middle stump, and unfortunately Worcester are succumbing to the one type of tactic batting you don't want to do at Old Trafford, which is trying to play around your front pad. One of the things that we used to talk about, you drill it in, is you hit hard and you hit down the ground at Old Trafford as much as you can, and I was just trying to work around his front pad. If you miss, you're out.
Tom Hartley starts at his T20 career last year was excellent. It's continued this year. He's secured a 100 contract with the way he's performed with the white ball. He has a chance of a hat-trick. It's 2 in 2 for the left-arm spinner. Crowder in the game now.
There's a slip in place. Get the short leg in.
Get everybody around the bat. Here it is, hat-trick ball. Hartley in, bowling. Forward goes Ed Barnard and pushes away into the offside and gets through for 1 run. 60 for 5. A round of applause for Tom Hartley.
A few traditionalists in the crowd. You get the round of applause, don't you, if you take 2 in 2 but don't take the hat-trick?
Yeah, like it.
You won't get that in the 100.
Hartley bowls. Back goes Cox. Clips it off his pads out towards square leg. T20 best for Tom Hartley this as well. 3 for 10 from 2.4 overs. 61 for 5. Bernard on strike. Hartley balls. He goes back. Trying to steer it down towards short third man. Throw comes in pretty sharply from Saki Mamoon. Not sure if his captain appreciated it. The keeper. Blimey.
10 yards away. He let that go at 95 miles an hour.
Yeah. And not straight.
Apart from that.
Apart from that.
Good work, Saki. Forward goes Cox again. Just nudges the ball off his pads. That into the onside. Tom Hartley's over comes to an end. It started with 2 wickets in 2 balls, then 4 singles at the end of it. 3 overs, 3 for 12. Hartley's figures, 63 for 5 at the halfway stage here live from Emirates Old Trafford on Lancashire Cricket TV, the BBC Sport website and app, BBC Radio Lancashire, BBC Hereford and Worcester. A target for the Rapids is 160 to win, so they need 96 more runs, 60 balls to get them. And Dave Bradley,
as previously advertised, Luke Wells is going to bowl. It's Tom Hartley from both ends, really. They pulled a flanker here, Lancashire. Yeah, halfway through the innings, long way to go here for Worcestershire. Somebody really has to play almost the innings of a lifetime. Will it be Barnard? He's at the non-striker's end as Cox cuts this one backward of square on the offside. And there is no run. Tall, very thin Wells and bowls, and this is on leg stump, just turned away by Cox for a single. Parkinson comes busily in from fine leg to field. got a bit cooler, gentlemen, do you think?
Yeah, there's a bit of a breeze now. Yeah, bit of a breeze.
Often happens when the sun goes down. Notice that.
It's a breeze through the window and up the trouser leg as well.
That was in bowls, and this is cut. Oh, there's a bit of misfield there by Keaton Jennings. I think it was indeed Jennings. Really should have stopped that one. So they pick up a single. Barnard has 3, Cox has 10, 65 for 5 midway through the 11th over. Next ball goes for a little reverse lappy sweepy thing. Cox, and the ball goes off his pad. Oh no, it doesn't go off his pad, goes off his bat. And he picks up a single as it trickles past the wicket-keeper. Wells next ball, and Cox is back and across, plays the ball away through mid-wicket. In the air, but there is nobody in at mid-wicket. They're all out on the boundary. But Davis in very quickly, prevents any thought of a second run.
And that's the difference there. That's gone onto the 30-yard circle, but only 1 run.
Yeah. Wells, last ball of the over, and Cox is forward, pushing away on the offside, picks up a single. 5 runs off Luke Wells' first over, and at the end of that first over, his first over of the season, I think, in this competition.
It is,
you're right. Yeah. And Worcestershire are 68 for 5, 11 overs have gone, and Lancashire firmly in the box seats.
So a victory already for England against Sri Lanka in the one-day internationals, the second of that series. England winning by 8 wickets. Elsewhere in the North Group of the Blast, Notts Outlaws 65 for 3 in the 7th, 156 is their target to win. Parkinson back into the attack from the stay the men. Forward goes Cox. Nice forward defensive, just pushing it back, and there's no run. Parkinson 2.1 overs for 11. Twirls his way back in again. Cox looks to sweep. Sees the ball disappear out towards Finn Allen at deep backward square leg. Moves to 13, 69 for 3. One more T20 game for both of these sides. Worcestershire at Derbyshire tomorrow, Lancashire at Yorkshire. And then it's the county championship back on Sunday.
Oh, good old.
Blimey.
Yeah.
Forward again goes. That'll do, Sunday. that'll do nicely. Get forward in defence and there's no run.
Doing some practicing for the red ball cricket.
Yeah, of course, Worcestershire don't play in this round because they've played every week in the first 9 weeks.
It's a week off.
Yeah.
Swept by Barnard. Picked up inside the circle by Hartley. And get through for 1. That's a tough start, isn't it, then, if you're playing every round?
They played every year.
Blimey.
Yeah. I think they were the only county that did. But they get a week off now, so.
Tough start to a championship season. Parkinson again to Cox, who looks to try and sweep. Bounces up and into the gloves of Dane Villas, and there's no run. 1 ball left for the 12th. In once more. Swept out towards deep backward square leg. Cut off by Finn Allen. And there's 1 run. End of the over. So just 3 off it. Cox has 14, Barnard has 5. 71 for 5, 89 required, 48 balls left. And by the looks of some of the Lancashire supporters in the crowd, they got their feet up and they got quite relaxed.
What do you do in this situation for Worcestershire? Do you go out there and just clatter it around and you might as well be all out for 90?
I always used to use Duckworth Lewis, I've said this a number of times, as sort of a guide as to their health. And so, you know, Worcestershire, if I'm Worcestershire batsman, I'm looking, I'm about 30 runs behind where I need to be at this stage. So 30 runs is, you know, a good over and a half behind.
Next over, Croft it is bowling to Cox, who hauls the way through the leg side. A misfield out on the deep square leg boundary by Tom Hartley, and they'll come back for a second run.
So I'm looking to target specific bowlers. So for instance, Crofty now would be a bowler I'd be targeting. I'd be looking to try and get a good over against him. If I don't, I don't, but I'll try and put him under pressure, knowing that maybe some of the other bowlers might be a bit harder.
Croft in again. Cox works the ball away on the onside. Davis comes hurtling in, and they'll think about 2, but they're not going to get 2, although Davis does slip. Probably getting a slightly dewy outfield out there now, but it gets to the ball quickly and prevents the second run. Barnard to face. He has 5. Cox 17, 74 for 5 in the 13th. Croft bowls, and this is eased away to the offside, and there will be a simple single on this occasion. Luke Wellsfield. I know it's Luke Wells because Tom Hartley's on the deep square leg boundary, so can't be another tall thin bloke. 75 for 5. Croft bowls, digs this one in, and he's onto it quickly here. Cox shovels this one away through square leg. Poor ball from Croft, really was a long hop. Cox very quickly inside the line, smashed it away for 4. 79 for 5, Worcestershire.
It's a good over, isn't it? Worcestershire need this.
I remember I used to ask, Worcestershire great Graham Hook, how he used to go about chasing down scores, and he used to talk about playing the percentages.
Croft again, this time a sweep shot from Cox. Goes out to Davis at deep mid-wicket, one more, 80 for 5.
And the important thing is not to leave yourself too much to do, because your percentage chance of winning gets much less if you leave it all to do at the end.
Croft bowls, and this time trying to work it away somewhere through extra cover, I would suspect, Ed Barnard, but gets almost too much bat on it, and it goes back down the pitch. And Croft does his own fielding. 7 overs left, and Worcestershire need to double their score to win. They are 80 for 5. They need 160 for victory. Men out: D'Oliveira 2, Libby 10, Mitchell 5, Vessels 27, Whiteley 0, 3 wickets for Hartley, and 2 for Mahmood.
But I mean, these two lads can back, can't they? They can clear the rope, these two.
Yeah. His principle was, I can get a lot of runs in the last few overs if I need be, but if I do, I'm going to be taking a lot of risks, and the chances are very little, so I need to do what I can earlier.
Well, Hartley's been miserly so far. There's Cox engineers a little shot by getting down on one knee and scooping it over his shoulder for a single. 23 to him now, 81 for 5. 3 for 13 are Hartley's figures. Ed Barnard looking out towards that leg side boundary, deep backward square leg, deep mid wicket, got a wide long on. That's where he's aiming, leg side. There's a man underneath it. Finn Allen takes the catch, and Ed Barnard goes. Caught out in the deep backward square leg. Relatively comfortable catch for Barnard. It's a 4th wicket for Hartley, who's having a terrific night with the ball. And perhaps Worcestershire's final hope with Barnard disappears.
Yeah. But something had to give. If Worcestershire keep knocking it around for 1s and 2s, they're going to lose anyway. So one of these batsmen had to try something. Yep. And to be honest, they got to keep doing that. If Cox knows he has to go deep, right now, I think it's the right play. Someone at the other end has to see if they can get a quick fired, 30 or 15 balls and just get that score up to something where if Cox is still there at the end, he's got a chance. If he's trying to get 30 off the last 2 or 25 off the last 2, he's still there, there's a chance. But if it's 40 or 50, well, then it's game over. They can't keep knocking it around. They have to show the intent at this stage in the game to see if they can give themselves a chance.
Dorshis, the new batsman, 287 T20 runs. Make that 288 T20 runs. Highest score of 42. Average of just under 16, a strike rate of 120. Ben Dorshis is off the mark with that. Hartley's got 3 balls left, 4 for 14. Blimey, Tom Hartley's left arm spin for Lancashire Lightning this evening. Cox on 23 from 24. Leans into it. Neat shot through mid-off. Gets 1. 83 for 6. So 1 a wicket and then a single and a single off this over so far. 2 balls left of it. Hartley from the Brian Statham end. Left arm over, bowling. Dorshis going back with an angled bat, tucking it into the onside. Luke Wells fields at mid-wicket. dot ball. And this the final ball of it. Been a terrific evening with the ball for Hartley. And it's chopped away through extra cover. They've got a great reception here, and rightly so, the sole left-arm spinner. Because he's signed off his 4 overs this evening, Tom Hartley. Gets a round of applause from those inside Emirates Old Trafford. He's finished with figures of 4 for 16. Tom Hartley, 84 for 6, 14 overs gone. That's a fine evening for the left-arm spinner, Stephen.
It's a potentially a match-winning spell. It's taken the wind out of the sails of Worcestershire right at the time when they were looking to try and kick on with their in-form batsmen. And he'll be very proud of that spell of bowling. And Lancashire will be very thankful that he's delivered that.
Mahmood to bowl from the Jimmy Anderson end. Hasn't got his name on the stand, does it? It should have his name on
it. It does, yeah.
Where?
Just under the clock.
The clock, yes. Little white triangle
above the old dressing room. Yes.
I couldn't read that if I was stood 3 yards from it. Here's Mahmood into bowl, and this is pulled away by Dorsh's gone for 4. Timed that very well. Got inside the line early and boomed it away through mid-wicket for 4. I say Jimmy Anderson would be the only person to bowl in county cricket with his name on the stand behind him. Although Brett D'Oliveira could claim that the D'Oliveira stand was behind him at New Road. Wasn't named after him, but semantics. There's takes the total now to 88 for 6. Exciting news. Marty seconds have lost to Barnard Green thirds off the last ball of the Carter Cup semi-final.
What a finish.
Oh, crowd went mad. Both of them, and the dog barked. Here's Mahmood. Races in again and bowls, and this is cut away by Dwarshus down towards third man. Should only be 1 if it's picked up cleanly. It is picked up cleanly, and they settle for the single.
I do agree with you, brothers. It is a bit small. I mean, they've got lancashirecricket.co.uk/tickets across the
that could say anything.
That could say James Anderson then, couldn't it?
It could say gentlemen's toilets this way. Could say anything.
I mean, it's important information. You need to know to
well, it is
where
if
to
you
get
can
your
see
tickets.
Mahmood to bowl to Cox. 89 for 6 in the 15th. Worcestershire need 160 to win. Mahmood bowls. Cox digs it out. Inside edge onto his pads.
First time I came across Mahmood was in the nets here at Old Trafford. I don't know if any of you have had the pleasure. Hey, look at that.
Just break it off. There we go. That's the main sign across the banner of the pavilion.
Can we get a shot of the Jimmy Anderson one now and put them side by side?
Just move to the left. There it is.
There we go.
James Anderson.
There we go, Jimmy.
I still can't see it.
Zoom in. There we go. Look at it.
There it is. Yes. Hans Christian Andersen end, that's it. Here's Mahmood in bowls, and this is pushed away by Dwarshus. Oh, there's a bit of a mix-up here. Cox was having, thinking of having a run, and Dwarshus was having nothing to do with it.
I wonder how that went down with Jimmy when it was unveiled. Hey, Jim, come along. We've named a whole end at Old Trafford after you.
Yeah.
Unveiled it and pulled the handkerchief off.
We put the sign on a postcard.
We've covered it with a handkerchief. There you go.
And end is in a different colour as well to James Anderson.
They ran out of
it's a different font.
Rose red.
There we are. Anyway, back to the cricket. 90 for 6. Here's Mahmood. Races in, bowls under edge from Dwarshus. If it beats the dive of Parkinson, it's 4. It does, and it is. Parkinson frustrated. Could get a bit of a nasty bounce there as well. I'll give Parkinson the benefit of the doubt on that occasion. Worcestershire go to 94 for 6. They have 31 balls left in the innings to score. Well, we hadn't started this conversation. 66 runs. You know, you get halfway through a sentence and you think, oh, what did you do that for? Mahmood. In again, this time Dwarshus gets a ball right up in the block hole. Good ball from Mahmood, good Yorker. Dwarshus happy just to get the bat on it. End of the over, 5 left, 94 for 6. And the story of the night from a Lancashire point of view, Mahmood's taken 2 wickets, but Hartley's left arm spin has accounted for 4. Worcestershire batsman, 4 for 16.
That chap looks like he sums up the way Worcestershire are feeling at the minute on the pitches there. Looks a little glum. Well, we thought it might be a bit of a trial by spin, and it's been that way, hasn't it? I mean, it's kind of ideal for Lancashire. Win the toss, bat first, spinners come into it.
Oh yeah, tried and tested method, and when you're batting, it's a nightmare because the overs just fly by.
Career best T20 figures for Tom Hartley tonight, 4 for 16. Parkinson will bowl out his 4th and final over, and there's runs here for Cox. 4 of them. Finn Allen puts a dive in. It's a proper belly flop, trying to get across the ground, but nicely swept. Beats the man Hartley inside the ring at short fine leg, and the dive from Finn, but beyond his reach, and 4 runs to start the over. Cox moves to 29 now, 98 for 6. And Parkinson backing over the wicket and bowling. Cries of catch, it's sent into the onside, it'll bounce in front of Luke Wood coming up from deep mid-wicket. So just a single. Cox to 30. 99 for 6. Dorsius on strike. 61 off 28 for the Rapids. Lancashire Lightning have lost 3 successive T20 matches coming into this one. They've never, in the history of the competition, lost 4 on the spin. We're trying to avoid that this evening. Parkinson in, bowling, skipping down the pitch and driving firmly up towards long off, where Stephen Croft's underneath it. Just the 1 for Ben Dorsius. He moves to 12. Brings up the 100 for the Rapids. 100 for 6, halfway into the 16th. Parkinson spins the ball from one hand to the other. Over the wicket and bowling to Cox. Cox gets a hold of that. Oh, it's a good shot. That really is a terrific sweep shot. For 6 out towards deep backwards square leg. Blimey, he timed that one well. 106 for 6.
Yeah, proper sweep shot there. Lovely balanced position with his head, and he accelerated his hands through. Good connection. One of the best sweep shots of the night, that.
Cox to 36 from 29. We saw a bit of a rally, didn't we, from Rob Jones, which could potentially be absolutely pivotal, really. That 40 net, the way he finished, getting Lancashire up. And Worcestershire Rapids need a rally from Ben Cox here. They need something spectacular from one of these two. He's down the pitch. Oh, he's been bowled. Parkinson picks up his first wicket. Cox, having swept so beautifully for 6 in the previous delivery, he's got to keep going. There's no room for caution, really. Came down the pitch. You could see the anguish on his face as he swung and missed, and the ball clapped into the stumps. And Cox goes for 36. It's 106 for 7.
Yeah, it's the game. It got to stick or twist really for Worcester. They couldn't die wondering. Yeah, batting out your 20 overs and ending 20, 25, 30 runs short. It's pointless. You know, they needed to do it now. So. Yeah, unfortunate.
And you look at that and think, well, he just hit one shot for 6. Why would he come down the pitch and go again? But they're in the position where they've got to keep going, haven't they?
He's got to, yeah. You have no choice now. You know, you play your options. You know, you always try and say to the batsman, you know, you should know your boundary options and stick to it. Don't try to do anything different, especially in these pressurised situations. And you know, I'm sure Cox was just trying to do that.
Well, Lancashire's worst sequence without a victory is 4 matches in the T20 Blast. It's only happened twice, back in 2012 and this current sequence. Parkinson bowls forward because Ish Sodhi in defence, and there's no run. Parkinson's done, 4 overs, 1 for 26. 24 balls left, 54 required. Lancashire have lost 3 on the spin in T20 cricket, 4 without a win because the game prior to that was a washout. Never lost 4 matches on the spin in T20 cricket in the 19 years it's been going. It's some record in itself.
I don't know what the overall record was, but I'm pretty sure, you know, at least when I was playing, Lancashire history in the game, in the competition, was one of the best. There's some great scenes here at Old Trafford now.
We've got just the most magnificent contrast. We've got a couple of lads who are whipping their shirts off and bearing all, and they really shouldn't. And then a slightly more calm and sedate.
Yes.
more friendlier version. Everyone's having fun though.
All got a smile on their face, haven't they?
But I think you're right. I think that Lancashire's record, I think, with Nottinghamshire is pretty much neck and neck.
Good, yeah.
Those two are one.
The win ratio, you know, across this competition since its inception is, you know, right up there with the best.
Here's Luke Wood, left arm over the wicket, bowling. Dorsh's trying to swap the ball away through the onside. Wood picks up, throws towards the bowler's end, trying to run Dorsh's out. But, he's got through for a slightly scrambled single. 107 for 7. I couldn't quite get that image out of my mind, and I wasn't quite sure whether those lads were going to stop. I mean, off came the shirt. Where was it all going to end? 53 from 23. Rapids are at Derbyshire tomorrow night. Dave Bradley and the team will be with Dave Fletcher will be there commentating on that match. Angled down towards third man, but just for a single by Ish Sodhi. He's leaning back, running off the face of the bat for 1. Off the mark with that. 108 for 7. And Lancashire Lightning are travelling across the Pennines. It's the first Roses fixture. Yorkshire against Lancashire tomorrow evening from 6:30.
Is that a limited crowd tomorrow?
It is, unfortunately. Yeah, as is the game here.
Yeah, as well.
As it stands, Lancashire are keeping everything crossed that might not be the case. It's right on the cusp of the restrictions being relaxed is that game here. But the match tomorrow night, just 4,000. Swatted up towards the long arm by Ben Dorshis. Rob Jones fields. Had a good night, Rob Jones. Runs, 49 of him. He's got a bit of a fan club there in the hotel. He's having a little look over his shoulder. Might have a few mates watching on. And he's waving up the crowd as well. He's getting the crowd to get involved. Yes. And there's only a couple of thousand in this evening for obvious reasons, and everyone's doing their best to get a good atmosphere. With left arm around the wicket, he comes towards him, takes a step towards him, and I think Wood saw him coming.
He almost charged into the bouncer and headbutted it.
Dot ball after all that. 109 for 7.
I remember Nick Knight doing that against South Africa. We were playing a 2020 game. I think Nick Knight had come back after not playing much and decided to charge Morne Morkel. He was still halfway through the charge and hit him on the badge.
Terrific. Is he going to go on the charge again? No. Step to the leg side. I think he's gloved it over the keeper. He's got 4 for it. Thumps into the advertising board. I think that may have come off his glove and ballooned over Dame Villas. He got 4 nonetheless. He moves to 5. Score moves to 113 for 7 with 1 ball left of the 17th over. I'm starting to worry a little bit because we come towards the end of this over as to what we might see next in the gap between overs. Yeah. Oh my word. Oh, we have missed it though. Blimey. The T20 games last year, they were great to see some cricket, but it was so poor without supporters. In finals day last year, Edgbaston, empty Edgbaston, it was raining, it was dark, it was so much more fun with fans, and of course, driven up to mid-off, where Mahmood fields. 17 overs gone, 114 for 7 with 3 overs remaining. Ish Sodhi has 6, Dorshis has 14. The T20 anthem is going to get belted out around Old Trafford, so everyone's up having a sing-song.
I even saw the mini trombone out again as well.
Oh, playing the football as well. Yeah. I wonder if he knows. This is a huge among sporting people in England.
It's introduced him to a new generation of
it has, hasn't it?
Of people, hasn't it?
3 overs remain.
Oh, there's a trumpet on the live stream. Look at that.
I don't think he's in the alley orchestra, is he? Luke Wells is going to bowl from the Statham end. Right arm over, he's in and bowls, and that's a big heave by Sodhi. Doesn't really time it, goes all along the ground out to deep mid-wicket where Croft is the fielder. One more to the Worcestershire total. So can their overseas players, who bowled very well, both of them today, can they produce an amazing finish to this game? Minute adjustments to the field by skipper and wicketkeeper Villas. Wells in bowls, and this is heaved down the ground. Should be 2 here, maybe. No, Luke Wood's very quickly into that. Bounced up nicely for him as well. And a good throw from Wood back to the wicketkeeper. No chance of a second run in the end. Fielded well tonight, Lancashire. Quick to the ball. Or was he quick to the ball?
Yeah, haven't seen many twos, have we?
No. Sodhi waits on this occasion. Heaves this one away. Once again, doesn't time it. It's in the air for a long time. Wood comes in. This time, he's at long on. Sodhi in frustration bashes his bat on the ground. Sodhi's got 8. Dwarcius 15. 117 for 7. Midway through the 18th over. Wells starts to come in and then loses his run up off at least 6 paces. In again, and this time in the air and gone. Jennings takes the catch at extra cover. Dwarcius goes, and Worcestershire are crumbling to defeat, and Lancashire are racing for victory. Worcestershire 117 for 8. Dwarcius, well, a couple of big blows from him, but never threatening anything really.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough ask for the lower order to try and get up with the rate, especially against a Lancashire attack that are so used to playing in these conditions. Lots of spin, big boundaries. Always going to be a tough.
The trouble with once you get into the T20 weeks, months, the lower order don't bat very often, do they? So you've got no form.
Yeah.
And if you do bat, your team are usually like this in deep doo-doo.
Yeah.
So, Dylan Pennington has made his way to the middle. Needs to look up quickly because the bowler's coming in. helps. I never played a great standard of cricket, but I know that looking at the bowler when you're batting is a bonus. Anyway, we're all ready to go now. Wells in and bowls, and Pennington, a nice shot all along the ground. And Croft fields, again, they'll only settle for 1. And Worcestershire are 118 for 8 as the sun sets away to the west, which it normally does. As next ball from Wells. Oh, he's got hold of that one. Way, that's in row K, I think, that one. A solid blow there from Sodhi over the ropes, but is it too little, too late for Worcestershire? 124 for 8. So they need, what, 36 of 2 overs. Unlikely, but not impossible.
Gonna need a few more of them.
They really caught that one, didn't they?
Didn't it? It's a beauty.
I remember, I think there was a game when I was playing for Worcester against Warwickshire, and Heath Streak was batting, and they needed 27, and Dean Ballock was bowling, and we were like, this is easy. 27 of 6 balls. And after the first 3 balls disappeared for 6, you could see everyone going, okay, I don't feel so comfortable anymore. I think it got down to they needed about 4 of the last ball, Heath Streak.
Well, the penultimate of the over of the game will be bowled by Saki Mahmood, and need a good one, the Rapids. Pennington's on strike. Slow ball from Mahmood, actually, just goes back and pulls it down into the ground. It disappears towards fine leg. Jennings fields. Pennington moves to 2 and 25 for 8. Smart move, you think, going to Mahmood with this over in particular? Because Worcestershire will probably need to get most of it done in this over if they can, and they're facing probably, arguably, the best bowler Lancashire have got.
Yeah, kill the game.
Mahmood looking to try and do that. Bowled him. Ish Sodhi's gone in pretty emphatic circumstances. 3rd wicket for Mahmood. Little step back into his crease, then to the leg side. And then bang, the ball rattles into the stumps, and that's the 9th wicket to fall, 125 for 9.
I've got to say, it's tough enough facing someone bowling 90-odd miles an hour when you're standing still, but Sodhi's done the hot shoe shuffle there. He's gone to the offside, back to the leg side. Yeah, I mean, if he got bat on that, he needed a medal, because at that pace, you've got to be still.
It was his leg stump, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah. It was 3 for 25 for Mahmood. Well, I said this is the penultimate over of the match. It could be the final over of the match. 9 wickets down. Morris on strike. Well, these games come quick and fast. There's another chance to have a quick turnaround for Worcestershire tomorrow night at Derbyshire. Still very much in the thick of trying to qualify. It's 2 in 2 for Mahmood. Speared in, full, straight, quick, and rattles into the stumps. And Worcestershire are all out for 125. Morris, the last wicket to fall. Lancashire supporters up in celebration. They've won it by 34. And Mahmood wraps it all up with 2 in 2.
Won by 34 runs, and I reckon Jones and Wood put on 37 for the 7th wicket, so that was a big difference, wasn't it? If they'd have been chasing 140.
Yeah, well, it would have changed the whole mentality, and equally, you know, we're saying about momentum, you know, Lancashire went into the change room with a bit of a spring in their step. They knew they got their bonus runs, and you can take that into the next inning. So, yeah, I agree with you. That was a real change in the game, that last 2 overs of the first innings. That was a good
Testing red.
There by Lancashire. They did all the things that they know they do well here at Old Trafford. They were tight in the field. Spin played a really big part, and you know, Tom Hartley did a great job there, taking wickets, but also not going for any runs.
Yeah, the standout bowler. I'm sure he'll lead Lancashire off, Tom Hartley, with career best T20 figures for Hartley of 4 overs, 4 for 16. Players tapping fists, and in a good contest. Brothers, Worcestershire come into this game in good form, but chance to bounce back tomorrow night, and you're going to lose a few along the way, as Lancashire found out this season.
It's T20 cricket.
Yep.
It's good, as we were just saying, it could swing in a couple of overs, a couple of balls maybe. I just think there were sharp chances that Worcestershire put down right at the start, and Lancashire did get it. They got a start, didn't they? Got 52, the openers.
Yeah.
Maybe if one of those had stuck.
Yep.
And they were never easy, but if one of those had really gone to hand, might have been a bit different. But yeah, you've got to say Jones's 49 not out made a huge difference to this game.
Yeah, you know, that 49, you know, combination of his 49 and Hartley's, you know, 4 wickets in the up, well, 3 wickets up front really took the sting out of the Worcestershire run chase. And yeah, it was pretty easy going in the end for Lancashire. That felt Worcestershire were always under pressure, getting behind the rate early on. So yeah, it was a good game, but pretty easy for Lancashire in the end. But towards the end of their first innings.
Good to be back. Live cricket, live crowd.
The crowd is just, isn't it? We just talked about it.
Just makes so much difference.
Yeah. We can't wait to get, you know, full houses back in and get the crowd, because you just see the energy, you know, coursing through the stadium, and the players feed off it, don't they?
Yeah.
So it's a pleasure to be able to sit and watch it.
I'm going to shoot off and inform the good people of Herefordshire and Worcestershire, both of them, as to what's happened here this evening. So, gentlemen, thank you very much for your company.
Thank you very much, brothers.
Cheers, brothers. Good stuff. Thank you very much. So it's an excellent win for Lancashire Lightning, helped by Rob Jones's 49 not out, priceless runs towards the end. Wonderful bowling display led by Tom Hartley, 4 for 16. Saqib Mahmood, 4 for 25, a wicket for Parkinson and for Wells as well. The skipper's a happy man, Dane Velas, plenty of smiles. Lancashire know they've got to keep winning games if they're going to qualify. It's a trip to Yorkshire next up tomorrow night. Lancashire clinch a victory here at Emirates Old Trafford. They've beaten Worcestershire by 34 runs.
To Scott and team, thank you very much indeed for guiding us through a 34-run win for the Lancashire Lightning against the Worcestershire Rapids. Warren Hegg is alongside me. We'll try and get some post-match reaction just as soon as the song has been sung in the dressing room. That was impressive in the end because we talked about how crucial it was. It wasn't necessarily, as you mentioned, it was a pass score. It wasn't a huge target for them to chase down. And just like in the first match of our double-header today, it proved tricky to chase down a pass score, and so Lancashire are winners.
You know what, Hugh? I look at the way our batsmen struggled a little bit in our innings, and I thought, well, if our batsmen have struggled, anyone's going to struggle. But they're fluent, they're very aggressive, our batsmen. They struggled, and there was only Rob Jones that really got to grips with the pace of the wicket, knocked it around beautiful, ended up being virtually a match-winning score.
So let's talk about those two match winners as well. We spoke about Rob Jones in the innings break, so a word about Tom Hartley, because he's an unassuming character, isn't he, from Ormskirk, and yet he goes about his business in such an unassuming way. I get the impression that batsmen don't necessarily take him too seriously, and then that happened.
What are you trying to say, Hugh? He doesn't look like a cricketer, but no, you know what? I know exactly what you mean there. He goes about his business. He's very professional. He's a very quiet lad, and he proved today that he's worth his weight in gold. Left arm spin, taking the ball away from the right-hander. The pace he bowls slower balls, he bowls quicker balls, and he's very, very disciplined in what he does. We can also see he fields really well as well. He can bat, get a few important runs down the order. So I'm absolutely made up for Tom Hartley. He's a Lancashire lad and through, and he's like Rob Jones. He's one of our own that's come through and won us that game.
Yeah, 4 for 16 is the third best figures in T20 cricket for a spinner, and that's in pretty good company too, bearing in mind that he is a left-arm spinner, and they have done pretty well here.
Absolutely, yeah. And what we're talking about, Emirates Old Trafford again, it's that you look at Parkinson, you look at Hartley, they squeeze the batsmen in their middle periods, make it very difficult for them to score boundaries. And it proved at the end that you have to go hard. You've got Saki coming on at the end, bowling them real death Yorkers that no one can hit. So look, a real strong unit at home, don't we?
Yes, a word about Saki Mahmood, because I was going to say Tom Hartley got 2 and 2, but so did Saki at the end. And yeah, he is a real kind of star quality addition when he can play when he's not with England. And so to see him execute his skills in a way that in the end was fairly academic, because Worcestershire weren't getting close, but for him to still do that and perform, and those last two were quite corkers, weren't they?
They were Akram-esque, weren't they? The Akrams. And let's say that's not a mistake. It doesn't happen by as the song goes on in the background. It doesn't happen by mistake. He practices them Yorkers day in, day out with Coach Glenn Chappell, using a reverse swing, getting it right up in the block hole. The old saying, if they miss, he hits.
Let's just throw it forward before we hear from one or maybe two of the players after the song is sung, as you rightly say. Yorkshire tomorrow night. Given that really Lancashire needed 4 wins out of the last 5 games, that's one of them, but 2 of the remaining 4 are against Yorkshire. So how do you fancy the Roses clash for tomorrow night?
You know what, you always fancy the Roses. You always fancy the Roses clash. Getting one up against the Yorkies is the best feeling in the world from a Lancashire player. But let's not look any further than that. They're a quality side. They're flying high in this competition. Came off with a bit of a dodgy result the last game, but to go to the Lions Den, which is Headingley, to play against them in front of, albeit not a big crowd, but those lads up there will be right up for it. They'll be Glenn Chappell will have them right up for that game from ball one.
There are plenty of derbies in plenty of sports, and you will have experienced this one, of course. There are also plenty of cliches that are associated with derbies. So how true is it when you go to the rivals and you play away from home? What is the intimidation like, and can you overcome it, or do you rather actually enjoy it too?
You've got to enjoy it, and I was very, very lucky where I played. I was wicket-keeper. I was 50 yards
as far away as you possibly could be.
But you can hear that tense rivalry from the lads in the pub before the game, having a pint. The girls are all shouting, and it's a brilliant, brilliant feeling. To the War of the Roses, Lancashire versus Yorkshire is a game that I really enjoy playing in, and I'm sure them lads up there are revelling in it.
Well, we're looking forward to that tomorrow night. Warren, for now, thank you. You will notice that behind you there are 2 gentlemen clad in red who are going to come and say hello as a result of their performances today. So Warren, if you could pass that to Rob. They're allowed to stand together. They're just not allowed to stand close to me. To Tom, to Rob, congratulations to both of you. We'll do it in chronological order. Rob, that was your best T20 performance for Lancashire, and you seem to be the one that managed to get the measure of the pitch the best, because the guys up front could do it when there was all the restrictions in place and it was coming on nicely, but struggled then when it took the pace off. But you came in and were accelerating in exactly the right way.
Yeah, I thought just, like you say, read the conditions early. Obviously took my time at the start of my innings, but obviously with that short boundary, I thought we could catch up at the end, and obviously a couple of scoops and hit one for 6, it paid off. So I think it was just about taking it as deep as we can. We lost a couple of wickets in the middle, so like you say, I think it just tried to take it as deep as I can, and it worked, it paid off.
I'm glad those were the couple of scoops that you enjoyed on the field, and maybe a couple of different kind of scoops in a minute. But there is a sense, isn't there, that even though it was a fresh pitch today, and often batting first is the way to go, it wasn't necessarily plain sailing. And given that the troubles that you've had of late in those middle overs, how crucial was it that you stuck around?
Yeah, massively. I know we've got some cracking middle order batters in Dane and Crofty, and obviously sometimes that's T20 cricket and it doesn't happen for a couple of games, but when it does, obviously you just got to make the most and try and take it as deep as you can. The pitch obviously quite slow and quite stoppy, so it's just trying to get the pace of the wicket as quick as you can. But yeah, no, I'm glad I took it deep as I could, and yeah, so sorry.
One off a half century.
Yeah, it was not quite over the line, but I don't care. Just contributing to the team is the main thing, so yeah.
Great stuff. And Tom, that is the 3rd best figures for a spinner in Lancashire colours in T20. I'm not entirely sure whether on your fridge door you've got a leaderboard that you want to get higher and higher up, but that was pretty impressive from you today.
Yeah, obviously we had to bowl well to defend that. So, bowling a couple early in the power play, had to be tight, and then obviously outside the power play, defending that shorter side, had to be on it from ball 1 really.
When you bowl in the power play, given that you were aware of what had just happened and you knew that it was going to get stickier as the middle overs came into the game, are you under more pressure, or do you rather enjoy the challenge because you know that they're going to have to take advantage of the power play, so it's almost like, go on then, have a go?
Well, yeah, it's nice when they're coming after you, gives you a few opportunities for wickets and all that, but obviously with the pitch being a bit stoppy, all I had to do is to try and turn it as much as I can really, and obviously the pitch did the rest and helped me a bit.
And there is a sense, isn't there, I mean, as we kind of prepare ourselves the last 4 games, Rob, that 2 games against Yorkshire, really need to win at least one of them, and you probably need to win all but one of the remaining games. So how excited are you about where you are currently?
Yeah, I think the group's really tight, isn't it? So it's about turning at the right time, and I think in the past, obviously, we've done that. It's just nip and tuck with crucial wins here and there. Obviously, the 2 games against Yorkshire are massive. I think every game now running in is just crucial. We've just got to try and win every game and put ourselves in a position to get top 4 and qualify for quarter-final spot. So, yeah, every game's crucial.
And as you know, Tom, as the group progresses, the fewer games there are left, the fewer chances you have to make sure that you do get into that top 4. So there's a sense of excitement, isn't there, that if you do get on a bit of a roll, it's the perfect time to do it.
Well, yeah, like you said, now's the time to get on a roll, really. Obviously, we've had a bit hit and miss up until now, but if we can get on a roll now, it'll set in us good stead if we qualify for quarters and then go on from there, really.
Well, enjoy Headingley tomorrow, guys.
Thank you very much.
If that's what it is, an enjoyment. But well done to Rob Jones and to Tom Hartley. Congratulations, well done. And to all of you for joining us, many thanks indeed. Enjoy the Roses clash in whichever way you choose to enjoy it. We're back here next Friday for the home game against the Northamptonshire Steelbacks. But it's been a very good day for 2 Lancashire teams today. Bat first, strangle the opposition, go home happy. Good night.